David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Monday afternoon to you, Southern Arizona. And around the world if you're listening on one of our many digital platforms. And there are a lot. We'll tell you about them a little bit later. Welcome to a new week, a new hot week. What's the temperature right now? Like 180s? Woo! Hope you got a nice cold glass of water. I went out midday yesterday, and I really was feeling it. Even in my air-conditioned car, like we went out to, we did the open house thing again as we continue to kind of potentially look for something we might eventually want to buy, and it was hot out there yesterday afternoon. So if you have to be outside right now around this time of day, it was around the time of day we went yesterday around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, please, please, please make sure you are taking all the necessary precautions to keep yourself hydrated and as cool as possible. We want to talk to you, as always, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. It was a busy weekend, to say the least. Went out and saw the Sugar Skulls play for the first time this season. Have some thoughts on that. They still can't score, but I'm not sure anybody. I haven't looked at all the scores in the league, but it just appears like scoring in the indoor football league this year is very difficult because we're seeing, I think, a lot more low-scoring games than we have in the past. So we'll dive into that. I think that game was barely like both teams barely had 14 points at halftime of an indoor football league game where scoring is supposed to be the thing. We're supposed to be in the 60s. The winning team had 35 points in that game on Saturday night. So we can get into that at 520-848-1290. If you were at the Sugar Skulls, if you've been going to the Sugar Skulls, what is your impression of what you're seeing this season from the team and in this league now known as the Indoor Football League? Did you watch the golf yesterday? The PGA got back just in time to see the end of that. I mean, you want to talk about some excitement down the stretch as Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy were battling it out to be the U.S. Open champion.
Land it in the middle, get it to run back there. It's 55 yards. So do you pick, do you blast? That's where you're at in this particular spot.
Good contact.
And that's caught the slump, ran up there.
Right below the hole goes DeChambeau, and he's pumped up.
He was pumped up. That's for sure. I mean, that was as beautiful a chip as you're going to see to win a major championship. We've seen a few of them before. I mean, the hero of Bryson DeChambeau, Payne Stewart famously did it on the same course. And Bryson DeChambeau is a major champion once again, coming from the Live Tour. He doesn't really play. I don't think he plays any PGA Tour events now that he is associated with Live, but gets to come back for the majors, gets to come back in, obviously, any tournament you've won, any major tournament you've won as a past champion. Bryson DeChambeau, who was 2 shots down with about 3 holes to play, and Rory McIlroy, who has not won a major in 10 years, looked like he was going to be back on top. And there's a lot of folks. I mean, Rory is very polarizing to a lot of people. because Rory competed for so many years against Tiger. And if you were a Tiger fan, you kind of really couldn't be a Rory fan. I've always been a huge fan of both Tiger and Rory. I never disliked Rory because I liked Tiger. But it was there for the taking. It was there for the taking. And you know, my dad used to always say, and he's not the only one that said this, but he was probably the first one I heard ever say it. You got to putt for the dough. Drive for the show, putt for the dough. And Rory McIlroy has been as good as anybody putting, especially within 5 feet. And he dramatically missed 2 down the stretch, 1 on 16, 1 on 18, that cost him a chance to be the U.S. Open champion for 2024. And so Rory is now sitting on continues to sit on just his 4 majors. And Bryson is now a 2-time major winner, both at the U.S. Open. We can talk about that. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. J.W. Madden joins us as always. J.W., did you watch that golf yesterday?
I tuned in for a bit of the, mid-round, and I did not see the very ending of it, but obviously I saw the highlights after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't know. I think the stat was something like 430 consecutive putts inside 3 feet that Rory had made this year. But the 1 on 16 kind of lipped out. The 1 on 18 was the one that was a bad read.
Yeah. And it looked like when he lined up, I was like, his line looks off to me, but those greens there's so much. I mean, if you watch that tournament all weekend long, you saw balls rolling off the front side of the green, rolling off the back side of the green. So you just never know where the cut is. It's just so difficult to read. And you really feel, because it's like we've all been through that. If you play this game of golf, you know what it's like to miss a 3-foot putt, because Lord knows we've, as amateur golfers, I don't even know if we can call ourselves amateurs, because that's probably way higher than our level. Yeah, exactly. We've missed a whole lot of 3-foot putts. You just don't expect those guys to miss those types of putts.
Yeah, I mean, if reading greens was easy, DK, then Rory McIlroy would have more than 4 majors.
Yeah.
And he won all those 4, incidentally, in 2011, 2012, and 2014. 3-year stretch.
Yeah.
He won all of his majors, hasn't won one since. Yeah, reading greens, I think, has got to be, obviously calming your nerves when you really need to put the ball in the fairway on 17 or 18 coming down the stretch when maybe you're 1 stroke back or you're tied. I mean, I can't imagine that amount of pressure just to swing the club and put the ball in the fairway. But when it comes to, settling your nerves and knocking down a putt, even if it's inside 5 feet, DK, yeah. I mean, we've seen it time and time and time and time again. These guys are the best in the world at it. And sometimes, I mean, yips is not the right term. I mean, because I think you just speed yourself up a little bit. I mean, like you said it yourself, the way he was standing over the ball on that 18th green didn't seem like his standard natural rhythm. So I don't know. I mean, the whole point of golf, especially at that highest possible level, is getting out of your own head, right? Trusting your mechanics. So it's rough. It's rough and it's hard to watch a guy like that, DK. It's hard to watch a guy who spent 10 years without getting a major title be on the cusp of it, and then, having 2 very makeable putts go sideways on 16 and 18. Just really tough to watch.
The best television of the day was the shot of him watching DeChambeau take the last putt in the scoring room. He sees it goes in, and he just turns around and walks right out the door. When I saw that shot, I was like, that is great television right there to have that reaction. Now, Rory didn't show up at the press conference, didn't talk to the media afterwards. So you know how I feel about those situations. I mean, come on. Rory, you've been around long enough to know that, and I understand. I mean, again, he called it, he put out, in fact, he put out a statement not too long ago, did Rory McIlroy, calling it one of the most difficult days of his playing career. So you kind of, again, you understand it. You understand what he was going through. Like I just mentioned, some of the biggest TV of him walking out that door, but you still got to be that professional. You got to show up. You got to answer the questions. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there the whole time, but you got to show up and you got to answer the questions. In fact, this was just about an hour ago that Rory McIlroy put out this statement. I'll read it to you. It says, yesterday was a tough day, probably the toughest I've had in my nearly 17 years as a professional golfer. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate Bryson. He's a worthy champion and exactly what professional golf needs right now. I think we can all agree on that. As I reflect on my week, I'll rue a few things over the course of the tournament, mostly the 2 putts on 16 and 18 on the final day. But as I always try to do, I'll look at all the positives of the week that far outweigh the negatives. As I said at the start of the tournament, I feel closer to winning my next major championship than I ever have. The one word that I would describe my career as is resilient. I've shown my resiliency over and over again in the last 17 years, and I will again. I'm going to take a few weeks away from the game to process everything and build myself back up for my defense of the Genesis Scottish Open and then the Open Championship at Royal Troon, which will be coming up later this summer. He says, see you in Scotland. That from Rory McIlroy, a tweet that he put out right around an hour ago at 2 o'clock. So your thoughts on what you saw. How hard is it? What's the key to making a 3-foot putt? What's the key? There's a lot of golf. A lot of you play golf here in Southern Arizona. What is your approach on a 3-foot putt or anything within 5 feet that looks so easy but just really isn't as easy as we think it is?
It's that thing, DK, where if you give the average hobbyist golfer in Tucson 10 3-foot putts in a row to make, they're going to make 7 or 8 of them. If you then say, if you make this, you get a $500,000, and if you miss it, I own your house now, right? I mean, the levels of pressure, there has to be something outrageous at stake for that 3-foot putt to feel like 3 miles, right? Or each grass blade seemingly looking down and laughing up at you because it knows which direction's going to bend the ball and you don't. It's just odd how that level, and we talk about this in all sports, but when you think about the NBA Finals tonight, I mean, those guys are going to get paid, right? Mm-hmm. Regardless. They aren't judged. They're judged by finals, but it's not, making one free throw in game 7, let's say hypothetically, is the only other analogous type of thing. It's standing over a putt at 18 or 16 down the stretch of day 4 of a major championship with a chance to etch your name in the history books. That's what they do. Yeah. You're only judged. Talk about Rory versus Tiger. I mean, can Rory be the guy to keep Tiger from having the most majors of all time was really the conversation that was being had way back then. So, yeah, I just think it's impossible to gauge that level of stress and pressure and what that does to humans. I think those people, we talked about it last week with, Joe Montana talking about John Candy in the stands. Just anything you can do to ease the tension of that moment, relax yourself, relax your muscles, not let the adrenaline flow too much. I think that's, the best of the best find a way to stop their body from reacting to the stress of that moment.
What is your approach to a 3-foot putt? 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. I know you play golf. We've got a number of golf courses out here. I've seen a lot of you out there. What's your approach to that 3-foot putt? 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We've got a lot to get into today. As I mentioned, I went and saw the Sugar Skulls this weekend. I went and saw FC Tucson last Tuesday night. So I'm trying to get around and see everybody at least once this summer. The Saguaros were back in town over the weekend. They won a couple of ball games. I think they won last night, like on the road, 20-18. As long as you win. And so we'll dive into all of that. The ladies on the FC Tucson side lost. They had their ranking had gone up from 16 to 14 last week, but they went out on the road to Utah and fell. They'll welcome in Utah this coming weekend. We've got a new golf coach here at the University of Arizona. I saw the old golf coach at the Sugar Skulls game. Had a chance to talk to Laura Ianello on Saturday night. Her and her husband Jeff were there. Great to see them one more time before they get out of here. Great family. Great family again. It sucks to lose someone like Laura Ianello in this community. Just a tremendous U of A alum, a tremendous person. It was fun. You know, we talk about the coaches that we enjoy covering, and it was a lot of fun to cover her program. So we'll see. We've got a new coach, as I mentioned, Giovana Maymon. How young is Giovana Maymon? So young that when Arizona won the national championship 6 years ago, Giovana Maymon was still in college playing golf. That's how young she is. So Desireé Reed-Francois going with a young hire. We'll dive into that as well. She just put out a tweet a little while ago as well. We'll get her thoughts on taking the job. DK on the sports tip. Cricket is out today. Christy is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. We have a couple collisions, a new collision at Swan Road and Glen Street. That's Glen Street and Swan Road. Also on the left shoulder of northbound I-19 as you approach Ajo Way. And an earlier collision in the clearing stages on eastbound Roger Road, just east of Mountain View Avenue. Excessive heat watch today with today's high of 104, overnight low 74, and tomorrow pretty much the same with a high around 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
DK on the sports tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Working on my hockey lingo.
You're
my
doing that.
jargon.
You're learning quick.
Do you know what icing is?
I love icing. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the best part of hockey, isn't it?
Don't miss out on all the fun.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Time for the hot weather polar bear promise. Alaskan AC arrives in 1 day or your repair is free.
Wait, say that again?
We arrive in 1 day or your repair is free?
Again, but longer on the A.
We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. Hear it?
No.
Alaskan AC, service guarantee. We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. By George, he's got it. With the Alaskan AC service guarantee, we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
Are we really doing this?
That's awesome, Gary. With Alaskan AC service guarantee,
we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
We should probably
sing with us, William.
I would really rather.
Come on.
I don't want to.
Chicken bok bok.
Guys, no.
It's catchy.
Do it.
Sing out, Louise.
Fine.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free. Whoa.
Whoa is right.
Can we get back to work now?
Schedule anytime at
AlaskanAC.com. Incredible.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's...
I'm Captain Tobacco from Tobacco Barn.
My tobacco hero.
I'm here to wipe out high prices on tobacco products. I'm also here to inform citizens that you could save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products. Pay no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn and save up to another $3 with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. Uh-oh, I see high prices. Excuse me.
Save up to 40% off all your tobacco products at Tobacco Barn. Tobacco Barn is on the Indian Reservation, so you're not paying state tax or any city sales tax. Plus, you can get a coupon for an additional $3 off at tobaccobarntucson.com.
Take it from Captain Tobacco. Save up to 40%. Save with no city or state sales tax. And save with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. Well, time for me to fly.
Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check tobaccobarntucson.com.
What up, Tucson? This is Joseph Blair, former Wildcat and assistant coach of the Washington Wizards. When I came to play basketball at the U of A in the 90s, the Tucson community became and has always remained a special part of my life. And this is why I proudly joined the Meridian Wealth Management Tucson Advisory Business Council. If you have financial questions or concerns, please be sure and call my friends Natalie or Ruben Fernandez at 719-1433 or visit online at Meridian Wealth LLC. And as always, bear down, Tucson.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I just crushed a nectarine, and I got some of the skin stuck in my teeth. That's always a great thing. You can watch this show. We're on a number of different platforms. You can watch this show on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter at Wildcats1290. All of the rest at Wildcats Radio 1290. You can also listen to this show on our website, WildcatsRadio1290.com. You can also download our app, and we'll tell you a little bit about our app as well coming up. Also, listen for the keyword to win. We're going to give you a chance to enter in for a $10,000 shopping spree at Bass Pro Shops. That's coming up a little bit later in the show as well. If you've been listening for the last week, we've got one more week of keywords to give you, courtesy of Chris Jansen, the country music singer. Bass Pro is his second home, or so he says in his song, What You See Is What You Get. And he wants to send you on a $10,000 shopping spree to his second home, Bass Pro Shops. So I'll give you a keyword. That's coming up a little bit later. NBA Finals tonight, game number 5. Okay, so both of these series in the NBA and the NHL were 3-0. Then the losing teams finally got a victory. Edmonton avoided elimination, and they did so in a resounding fashion, scoring 8 goals the other night. Where was that offense the first 3 games? If they'd have spread around some of those goals, it might be 2-2 instead of 3-1. But Florida will go home tomorrow night with a chance to wrap up the NHL Stanley Cup Finals on their home ice. Boston has a chance to win the championship on their home court tonight. Tip-off on that game is coming up at 5:30. We'll dive into that game coming up here a little bit as well. Wanted to talk, though, a little bit more about the Sugar Skulls. Went out to the Sugar Skulls game on Saturday night. Have you been to a Sugar Skulls game, Jada?
I have, but I'm trying to remember. It's not this year, last year. I went, 3 years ago, I think, something like that.
3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Been a minute. All right. Well, so I went out there, and again, we talked about this last week. The Sugar Skulls have had an issue scoring the football the last few weeks. They had scored 20 points 2 weeks ago in a loss, and they had managed just 12 points last weekend. The lowest scoring output in a indoor football league game this season. So this was considered, I believe was week 14. So I want to look at some of these other scores in some of these other games, just to see if I'm like crazy that there's a problem scoring the ball in this league. Green Bay beat Jacksonville 63-35, so that's 98 points combined. San Antonio beat Massachusetts 52-51, so that's 103 points. So we're right around 100 in those first two games. Iowa beat Quad Cities 28-27. That's a low-scoring game, just 55 points. Vegas knocked off Duke City 53-39. So that's 92 points there. Arizona Rattlers beat Northern Arizona 56-49. That's 105 points. San Diego beat the Bay Area. Bay Area is one of the best teams in the league. 43-42. That's 85 points. Frisco, who's actually a pretty good team, they came in with 9 wins, I believe. They had 9 wins coming in. Beat the Sugar Skulls 35-18.
I don't like their mascot.
The Fighters?
Yeah, I mean, I lived in the Bay Area, and I don't remember seeing a lot of fighters.
No, Frisco. This was Frisco. Frisco, and I don't know that there may be a base. Is there an Air Force base?
I don't know.
In Frisco?
I don't know.
Yeah, the Panthers is Bay Area. That's
so where's Frisco located?
Frisco, Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that
Frisco,
makes more
Texas.
sense.
Yeah. So 53 points combined in that game. So this was, let me go back to my first sheet here where we had the other low-scoring game. So that was the lowest scoring game in the IHL this week because the other one was the game where it was 55 points.
I got all the stats here in front of me. 9 of the 16 teams, DK, average 45 or more.
Yeah.
So that means more than half the league, if they match up, it's going to be 90 points combined. Mm-hmm. More than half the league averaging 45 or more.
Yeah.
Only 5 teams averaging less than 40. Iowa, 39. Duke City, 37. Jacksonville Sharks at 35. Sugar Skulls, 35.3. And the lowest scoring team, Massachusetts Pirates, 33.7.
And so if you add up the last 3 weeks, which they've scored 50 points.
Right.
What's that in 50? 3 by 50 is what, about 18?
Yeah,
They're
something
averaging
like
about 18 points.
Yeah.
Right now, the last 3 weeks. Now, granted, they were playing a quarterback. They've had some quarterback issues. They've had injuries. They were playing a young man there this past weekend that I'd never seen, Giovana Sanders. I believe it was his first start. He went 10 of 14, only threw for 69 yards, had a touchdown through a horrible interception in the red zone in the second half. The Sugar Skulls were driving to, I believe, even take the lead at this particular point in the game, and he just put the ball up for grabs from like the 6-yard line, and it got picked in the end zone. And Frisco went down and scored and lengthened their lead, and again, they went on to win by 17. Mike Jones didn't play in this game. I'm not sure what's going on there with that. It's funny. So I requested 2 players for interview last week. And neither one of them played in this game. The other was the place kicker out of Saguaro High School, Dimitri Fotinos. Apparently he was cut last week, which is why I never heard anything back on him. Went to the game saying, at least we can see Dimitri kick the ball tonight. And they had massive kicking issues in that ball game. The new kicker missed several extra points. He missed several field goals. He had kickoffs go out of bounds. It was rough. It was rough. We didn't get there in time to get the bucket hat. We gotta get Crystal back on. Maybe Crystal can raise our give us some good cheer because she was excellent. The best thing about the game was halftime. There was a guy, J-Dub, who was balancing things on his chin.
So, real quick story. We have NBA League Pass at our house.
Right.
And for every game you watch, they do not have anything on during halftime. All they do is have the video board in the arena. So whatever's on that video board is what you see at home on TV.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And what it is for NBA halftime is, a bear balancing on, a hula hoop with some kind of gymnast on top of that, like hoops, like a lot of flaming stuff. And I'm going to tell you, Paige has a cursory interest in the game, but once those halftime shows come on, she just can't take her eyes off of it. She just loves all the random crazy halftime stuff.
This guy was better than Red Panda. You know Red Panda?
Sure.
Yeah, the lady that on the unicycle who juggles and balances stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. This guy was pretty. He started out with small stuff. Then he was like at the end he balanced like a ladder on his chin. He like had one of those really big long folding tables. He balanced that on his chin. He had a wheelbarrow that he balanced on his chin. Then there were two ladders there. Then he took the one ladder, climbed up on the ladder, took another ladder, and balanced that ladder on his chin while he was standing on the one ladder.
That sounds like a lot of OSHA issues there to me.
I mean, it was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. The chin balancer guy. I forget. I'll have to get his name. We might have to get him on the show to find out how you train yourself. Of course, I was going around last night trying to balance. I can't even balance this remote control.
No, DK, you're way past
without it falling out.
You're way past the cutoff. You got to learn how to balance stuff on your chin when you're like 5, 6, 7, and then have a lifetime of trying to balance things on your chin. You don't just pick that up late in life. It doesn't happen like that.
No. So look, it was fun. We had a good time. It's fun. Supporting local sports and whatnot. But this is a struggle right now. This is a struggle right now for the Sugar Skulls. I'll tell you the other best thing. The other best thing about the game, and we'll have to ask Billy back, the head coach, next time we get him on the show. But I don't know if it was his son or not. But there was a young man who was in the players area where the players sit. It's not really like a bench. It's like an area, and they stand there. And he just kept going over and giving Coach back hugs. Like every time the team would come off the field, this kid would go over and he would give Coach back a hug. And so I'm assuming it was his son. So that just was the best. That was the other best part of it. It was like, it's Father's Day weekend. Your dad's team is struggling, but you're just going to be there for him, and you're going to give him a hug and make sure he knows that everything is okay. So kudos to Billy Back's son for giving Dad all those hugs.
I think his son probably took the 12 points harder than most.
Oh yeah. So they are 2-9 now. Are the Sugar Skulls? They've got 5 games remaining. I mean, even if they won the last 5, they probably are not going to make the postseason this year. I believe 2 more games at home this year. So make sure you get on out and support the guys in the Boneyard. It was a lot of fun being in the building, even though I didn't get the bucket hat. I'll have to see. Maybe Crystal got an extra bucket hat for me.
Is it just a bucket hat with like the Sugar Skulls logo on it?
Yeah, it had the Sugar Skulls logo, and it was cool though. It was red. It was red, I think, with a black brim, and it had the sponsorship logo on it as well. You know how those things go.
Sure.
Yeah. So next week on the road, I believe, and then back home after that for the Sugar Skulls. So you're at the game. If you watched the game, 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. This is obviously going to be record-wise the lowest percentage winning year for the sugar skulls. They haven't just been able to seem to find the right pieces to put together, whether it's coaches, whether it's players, to kind of make that deep run to the postseason. So we'll have to see if they can rebound and Billy can get things going again next year with a full year under his belt in the indoor football league. All right, we are going to talk a little bit about the NBA Finals. Game 5 coming up in about 2 hours. We'll also check in on the College World Series. There was some pretty exciting stuff that happened there over the weekend, and some games going on today. One game is already final. I believe it was the elimination game earlier. We'll get you up to date on that, and then we got a winner's bracket game coming up tonight. DK on the Sports Tip. JW is here. We've also got Christy getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. We have a couple collisions, a new collision at Swan Road and Glen Street. That's Glen Street and Swan Road. Also on the left shoulder of northbound I-19 as you approach Ajo Way. And an earlier collision in the clearing stages on eastbound Roger Road, just east of Mountain View Avenue. Excessive heat watch today with today's high of 104, overnight low 74, and tomorrow pretty much the same with a high around 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The innovation you've been waiting for is here. The Big Cheez-It Crunch Wrap Supreme and Tostada from Taco Bell. 16 times the size, 16 times the cheesiness, 16 times the innovation. Get one today at participating stores for a limited time while supplies last.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. If you're driving right now, you may not be thinking about your tires, but chances are they've been tested before. Like that time you swerved to avoid the stray shopping cart that rolled into the street from nowhere, or when you had a green light but did some extreme braking because another driver decided to turn left in front of you. And we've all had to navigate monsoon downpours that turned our streets into Arizona's largest slip and slide. At Jack Furrier's, we've helped Arizona drivers navigate these extreme moments for over 60 years with the right tires, the best steel, and a huge in-stock selection of the brands you trust. And now's the time to save big with the most rebates we've seen all year on the brands you love, like Michelin, Cooper, and Uniroyal tires, with up to $100 back all month long. And Jack Furrier cardholders get back another $30. Check out jackfurriers.com for details on all our sizzling summer savings. So for all those critical moments where your tires make the difference, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Hey, it's David Kelly. Do you know the radio is not the only place to find Wildcats Radio 1290? You can stream us by downloading our 1290 app.
A deep three is good, and the Cats are on top.
We're also available on the iHeartMedia and Odyssey apps, or head to our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Touchdown, Cats.
We're even on Alexa. Just ask her to put on Wildcats Radio 1290 so you never miss any of Southern Arizona's most important and in-depth conversation.
On a mission to protect free speech, Rumble is one of the only video sharing platforms where you can watch genuine content for free. Rumble is available on desktop, mobile, and connected TV, featuring bold, influential voices. Rumble gives you the freedom to be entertained with exclusive creators, action-packed sports, lively debates, and more. And now you can cut cable. Download the Rumble TV apps and watch independent media on the big screen. Creators such as Steven Crowder at 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday, Kimberly Guilfoyle at 4 p.m. Eastern Mondays and Thursdays, Glenn Greenwald at 7 p.m. Eastern Monday through Friday, and Don Jr. at 6 p.m. Eastern Mondays and Thursdays. Rumble is the place to find authentic expression from creators, a place where we do not censor, but rather believe that everyone should benefit from access to a network full of more ideas, diverse opinions, and dialogue. Join Rumble, where people are given the freedom to be entertained by exclusive content from creators who are empowered to express themselves freely. Visit rumble.com or download the app and watch for free.
Time for the hot weather their polar bear promise. Alaskan AC arrives in 1 day or your repair is free.
Wait, say that again?
We arrive in 1 day or your repair is free?
Again, but longer on the A.
We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. Hear it?
No.
Alaskan AC, service guarantee. We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. By George, he's got it. With the Alaskan AC service guarantee, we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
Are we really doing this?
That's awesome, Gary. With Alaskan AC service guarantee,
we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
We should probably
sing with us, William.
I would really rather.
Come on.
I don't want to.
Chicken bok bok.
Guys, no.
It's catchy.
Do it.
Sing out, Louise.
Fine.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
Whoa.
Whoa is right.
Can we get back to work now?
Schedule anytime at AlaskanAC.com.
Incredible.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Game 5 of the NBA Finals at the TD Gardens tonight. Boston with a 3-1 lead, trying to close out the Dallas Mavericks after the Mavs won game number 4 on Friday night and did so pretty handsomely by the score of 122-84. This game was never close, not in the least.
As soon as Derek Lively hit that corner 3, it was over.
and that was pretty early, if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
that made it like 16-9 or something.
Yeah.
But then they went on a crazy run. That was his first ever 3 he'd ever made. I only bring him up because Derek Lively has been a huge reason why the Mavs are in the finals right now. And we didn't talk about it much. He did suffer a concussion, ? I mean, he got a really bad, I think it was a knee to the back of the head in the conference finals. And then he sat out for a game and a half, came back and suffered another injury. And the first few games, it didn't look like he was himself. So if you put Porzingis on the Celtics and take Lively off the Mavericks, more or less, that's what we saw in game 1 and 2. But seems like game 3 and game 4, obviously, he's been much more active. And you talk about all those dunks they get at the rim. He's a huge reason why.
All right, so before we get into the game, we'll get some reaction, some preview stuff to this game tonight coming up in Boston. But got a little bit of a shock on the TV side. If you're watching NBA TV's post-game show after Game 4, a little bit of some surprising news. Here's what happened.
I want to say this because you guys are my family. I really love TNT, all the people who work here, NBA television. You guys been great to me for 24 years. And I just want to say thank you to my entire NBA family. I love you guys. There's been a lot of noise around our network the last few months. And I just want to say I've talked to all the other networks, but I ain't going nowhere other than TNT. But I have made the decision myself, no matter what happens, next year is going to be my last year on television. And I just want to say thank you to my NBA family. You guys been great to me. My heart is full with joy and gratitude. But I'm going to pass the baton at the end of next year. I hope the NBA stays with TNT. But for me personally, I wanted you guys to hear from me because I'm not doing any more interviews. Don't y'all be calling me. Nobody calling me. I'm not talking about this again, but I want to tell my NBA and NBA TV and TNT family that I'm not going to another network, but I'm going to pass the baton to either Jamal Crawford or Vince Carter or you, Steve. But next year, I'm going to just retire after 25 years, and I just want to say thank you, and I wanted y'all to hear from me first.
Charles Barkley announcing that he's not going anywhere. He's retiring from television after next season, which is expected to be the last season that TNT will be a primary partner in the NBA's television package. They could still be a partner if things get worked out, but the show that everybody loves inside the NBA, maybe the best sports analytical television show on any broadcast network right now, any sport, with the likes of Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson in the broadcast position. That's a shocker. That's a shocker that Chuck, who many people believe is still at the height of his career, would make the decision to just walk away.
Yeah.
And so this is our question of the day. Head on over right now to Twitter, at Wildcats1290. Do you believe him? Do you believe Charles Barkley is really going to retire from television after next season? Is he telling the truth? Or is this a total free agent play? Because this guy, I mean, he could basically write his own number at whatever network he wants to go to. Liv wanted him. Liv Golf wanted him to come and broadcast for them. He's obviously Chuck. He might be. I think he's maybe above hobbyist. You think? Can we put him above
golfing?
hobby?
No,
Yeah,
he's
no?
below hobbyist.
He might be a little bit above hobbyist.
I've seen his swing before.
Okay. Liv wanted him. I'm sure anybody that gets I'm sure NBC would want him if and when they get the rights to these games. ESPN, I'm sure, would want him, although he said he's never going to go to ESPN.
Well, that's okay. This has been going on for 3 months. We haven't talked about it much here on the show because it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. When you're talking about a $76 billion television rights deal, is what we're talking about here. Amazon, ESPN, and NBC are the three major organizations that are involved. Now, as you just said, there is 11th hour talks that maybe TNT could also be involved. But here's my question to you. After retiring from the NBA, has Charles Barkley worked a single day in his life? Because in my estimation, they set up that entire shtick around him coming in whenever he wants to, saying whatever's on the top of his mind, not a lot of prep work. He doesn't have to go in and bunch of film. I mean, they're asking Charles to be Charles Barkley. They hired him 24 years ago to be Chuck. We all knew him as a player, knew how outspoken he was. First thing on his mind, he's going to say it to any reporter who puts a mic up in front of him. But these last, especially with he and Ernie and Kenny, and now that Shaq's involved, it just feels like a bunch of guys hanging out in a living room after watching a game discussing what they just saw, as opposed to a deep dive analytical, let's go ahead and break down every single aspect of why it is the Celtics won Game 3. It's more just funny quips and Chuck being Chuck. If he does continue his career with either or all three of those entities, my first blush is quite literally that Chuck doesn't want to do any work. And those people and producers behind the scenes, he's had such a cozy existence with TNT. And it's worked great because, Chuck at ease is the best version of himself. If you put him in a situation where he had to be a lot more like a JJ Redick is these days by going back and watching 15 hours of film before opening their mouths, I don't think he would be anywhere near as good as just the comedic relief that he is. So, yeah, I think everybody out there wants to, especially longtime Suns fans, would love to see Charles Barkley continue his role in the media to some degree. Breaking up, it's like band breaking up.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if they don't have Ernie, he, and Kenny, at least those three together, and it's Chuck with a new host and, maybe Shaq's there too, but it's 3 or 4 other guys. The issue with those panel shows, DK, is everybody's trying to make a name for themselves in most of those shows. So it's like they have, anytime they get a chance to open their mouth and talk, they want to be the smartest person in the room. Kenny and Chuck and Shaq, they're not trying to be the smartest person in the room. They're just trying to bust each other's.
But what I'll say to that is that Chuck he's George Michael. He's George Michael of Wham.
Yes.
He's Diana Ross of the
Talent.
Supremes.
Yeah, he's the talent.
And you don't walk away from the business. You walk away to a solo career. So I just don't. I mean, this guy is at the height. I mean, all we've been hearing up until what he said Friday night was, how much are they going to pay this guy? Who's going to pay this guy and how much they're going to pay this guy? to come work for them. And now all of a sudden he's just going to retire? I mean, he just got done doing a show on CNN. Didn't work out.
6 months.
Yeah, didn't work out. But he's that type of personality that CNN took a chance on him in an open form, multi-topical type of situation.
I think the thing about it is, like, you could put cameras with Charles Barkley and 3 of his buddies drinking beer and golfing,
Right.
and you could like cut that into an hour-long program and have 10 of those episodes,
Netflix.
and they would get as good a ratings as anything else. I just think it's the idea of Charles is such a, his personality is magnetic, for lack of a better term. Everybody loves being around Charles. Everybody loves, he's just a big, lovable dude. And I just think he's always had an infectious personality like that, going back to his playing days, going back to his days in Auburn. So, I maybe Charles wants a little time off for himself. Maybe this is like one of those selfish things. I mean,
yeah.
He did 18 years in the NBA, followed by a couple of years off, followed by 24 years of this.
I mean, even with no preparation, there's still a lot of work.
Sure.
There's travel.
Sure.
I mean, you got to go. I mean, I
Well,
think
he's
he still
complaining-
lives here. He's got to go to Atlanta several times a week.
Most recently, when I tune in, he complains about it being 2 a.m. And they're in Atlanta,
Yeah.
so they have to if there's a game on the West Coast, there's a late night game on the West Coast on Thursday, Friday night, or whatever it is, or Wednesday TNT night. Yes, they have this. He's constantly complaining these days.
Yeah.
The last year or two, just about how late it is that he has to be there.
Yeah.
So that alone. But I mean, when it comes to them continuing any kind of post game show, I mean, a lot of other networks have tried to do it, and they've tried to put personalities that seemingly, I like Steve Smith a lot as a person, as a commentator. I really like a lot of those people that they've gotten. I'm trying to think who else comes to mind. It doesn't matter. There's quite a few people, former players, that they put together in these panel groups, and it just doesn't have that natural feel of a bunch of guys, saddled up to a bar just having a conversation. And I think that's the natural aspect to it, is why that TNT show always worked so well.
I thought I forget what the NFL Network calls their game day post game show was, but I thought when they had Deion on that show, Deion Sanders, I thought that was really good because to me, Deion is the football version of Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
And when he would get on there and they would kind of cut up, and him and Irvin together cutting up on guys, and he would quote terms, guy get hurt, he'd be like, praying for you, those kind of things. I mean, I thought that Deion Sanders in that role for the NFL Network on their post-game show was as close to what we've seen with Inside the NBA and Charles Barkley and Shaq and Kenny and all those guys. So it'll be interesting to see. Head on over right now. We've got, again, this is our question of the day. Head on over right now to our Twitter page at Wildcats1290. Charles Barkley said after Game 4 he's retiring from TV after next season. Do you believe Chuck is going to walk away at the height of his career? Right now, it's 50-50. Yes, Chuck pulls no punches. No, this is a total free agent play. Keep people talking. Keep the networks guessing. Somebody's going to back up the Brinks truck for me, and then I'll decide what's going to happen next. If you're asking me, I don't believe it. I don't believe he's going to walk away from this at the height of his career. You don't do that. Again, like I said, George Michael, walked away from Wham to become a solo artist. He didn't walk away from his career at the height of it, and I just don't think Chuck does that. I don't think Charles Barkley walks away from his career. The thing that he's best at with this new opportunity for where the NBA broadcasts are going next, I think he stays in it. I think this is a total free agent play that will have everybody talking for the next at least 9 months to whenever they start to make those decisions on what's going to happen with the 25-26 NBA season. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Want to hear your thoughts on that. Vote in our poll. You can text us as well on any of our social media platforms. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We still have that collision on Northern Avenue and McGee Road. That's McGee Road and Northern Avenue, causing quite a bit of slowing. You can use La Cañada instead. We're still seeing some slowing from an earlier collision on Swan Road and Glen Street, and also quite a bit of slowing on eastbound I-10 near Ina Road as you approach the construction zone. Today's high of 104, tonight's overnight low 74, and tomorrow pretty much the same with a high around 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with My Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming with member-only offers. Learn more about their new loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Subject to terms and conditions. See lowes.com/terms for details.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Over the years, Lerner has helped over 150,000 injured people recover billions of dollars for their injuries and over $1 billion in the last 5 years alone. What does that mean to you when you're looking for an attorney to handle your personal injury case? That means that Lerner is a law firm that not only has experience, but the proven results to recover money for your injuries. The insurance companies know which attorneys won't put up a fight. When you call us, we call them, and they know they have to pay.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Remember to tune in to Wildcats Radio 1290 for the biggest pregame show in the Pac-12. Because that's how we roll. We go on the air 4 hours before every football and men's basketball game all season long. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
You are paying too much for gas because you're paying for gas. Why pay for gas when you could pay for a new Blazer EV at O'Reilly Chevrolet and save $7,500 right off the top? That's just where the savings start. So use your electronic phone and go to O'Reilly.com and see them all in person on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or call 747-8000. Trade up and trade in and put gas in your rearview mirror. See us today at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split-second moment in time, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. The need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. And that's why when others look away, Susan G. Komen leans in. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. Fighting breast cancer takes funding for research to discover the next new treatment, providing access to quality and affordable health care, and people willing to take action by raising funds and raising their voice to advocate for others. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Psst. Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
All right, so we started the College World Series with 5 SEC teams, 3 ACC teams. Now we're down to 5 SEC teams and 1 ACC team. Earlier today, Florida, even though they're out hitting this game 6-4, beat North Carolina State 5-4. So North Carolina State is 2 and out. They follow their compadres, Virginia, 2 and out. Florida stays alive in bracket B. They are now 1 and 1. They will await the winner of the game that is about to be played right now in Omaha, Nebraska. Number 3 seed Texas A&M against number 2 seed Kentucky. Yesterday, Tennessee put themselves on the verge of the championship series finals with a 6-1 win over North Carolina. That was way less dramatic than what happened on Thursday, I should say on Friday night for Tennessee. Tennessee against Florida State found themselves down, well, early. They were down early 9-5, and I'm thinking, okay, the Seminoles are going to win this game. And then the Vols kept creeping back and creeping back. But still, it was an 11-8 game going into the bottom of the 9th inning. And Vol Magic came alive in Omaha.
Another 3-2. Hot smash up the middle. Base up the middle. Hit for the big orange. This game is tied. Mike Burke has done it for the big orange. Billy Amen, base hit. Burke will stop at second. 2 on, 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Pitch line in the air towards center field. That ball's gonna get down. Dylan Drawling has done it. The comeback is complete. And Tennessee walks it off. 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. This is a team you just can't count out. This is Tennessee baseball.
That courtesy of our Cumulus sister station 99.1 in Knoxville. Tennessee roaring back to beat Florida State on Friday night.
That wasn't from the Tallahassee Broadcast Network?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. So interesting thing happened in that game. There was, we had a cycle. Christian Moore of Tennessee hit for the cycle in that game. Just the second player to ever hit for a cycle at the College World Series. The other guy did it way back in the 1950s for the University of Minnesota. Want to gather what his name was?
Let me check my memory banks of famous Minnesotan baseball players from the 1950s. No, I don't know.
Jerry Kendall.
Really? Wow.
Jerry Kendall.
Wow.
Christian Moore and Jerry Kendall, the only players to ever hit for the cycle in the College World Series. Jerry Kendall, of course, went on to coach your Arizona Wildcats to championships in Omaha.
That's surprising to me that only two.
Yeah, you would think so. Especially in the live ball era of the 80s and 90s.
Right. Yeah,
you'd
those
have thought
bats.
there'd be some cycles there.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems there's 8 teams a year. There's how many years? There's quick math here, DK. That's a lot of games played, a lot of at-bats. So, yeah, I mean, it's more of just a volume thing to me. Like, I'm surprised only 2 have ever done it because there's been so many College World Series games.
Yeah. So, Christian Moore hits for the cycle. Had another big game. I think he got 2 more hits yesterday. Drove in a few runs in the 6-1 win over North Carolina. So, North Carolina now is sitting on the verge of elimination after they had opened with a pretty nice win of their own against Virginia. So now North Carolina will play, North Carolina will play tomorrow night. North Carolina will play tomorrow night against Florida State in an elimination game. So those 2 teams will be fighting for their lives. Now, we had more walk-off magic at the College World Series on Saturday. We mentioned North Carolina State was ousted earlier today. Their first loss came at the hands of the Kentucky Wildcats in extra innings.
See that very often. No, you don't. Here's a swing and a drive to deep left. Back goes Nixon. Looking up. Daly wins it. Daly wins it. Daly wins it. Kentucky defeats NC State 5-4 on a walk-off home run by Mitchell Daly.
That courtesy of not the North Carolina State Radio Network, the Kentucky Radio Network there. Big Blue Network, as I think they like to call it, down in Lexington. So Kentucky, the number 2 seed, knocks off North Carolina State on Saturday 5-4. And so Kentucky now will play Texas A&M here as this game is about to go to first pitch in Omaha. And again, the loser of this game goes down into the loser's bracket. The winner is in the same position as Tennessee, having to now be beaten twice by whoever comes out of the elimination bracket to knock them out of a chance to go into the finals. So right now, it could be, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Texas A&M, the 3 SEC teams that are in control, in good spots here, heading into what will be the finals this weekend. Game 1 will be on Saturday.
2 cycles, 2 no-hitters.
2 no-hitters at the World Series.
Yes, so there's a balance there. 2 no-hitters in the history of the College World Series, and the last one came in 1960, DK,
wow.
So it's been a minute, too. Also, not a lot of one-hitters. So it looks here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. 9 one-hitters and 2 no-hitters in College World Series history.
Interesting. Good stuff. Again, it's competitive as all get out, and these have been some good games so far this week in Omaha.
Can they be good games if it's only the SEC and the ACC represented, though?
Well,
truly.
Well, yeah, we could argue that, but they're still playing good baseball.
I'm not here to argue, but my opinion is no.
I mentioned that the Arizona Wildcats have a new golf coach. Her name is Giovana Maymon. It is spelled Mamon. She played her college golf at Baylor. She has spent the last 3 seasons as an assistant coach at Texas A&M. Texas A&M has gotten pretty decent at golf. She was on a Baylor team that was the national runners-up during her years as a student athlete there in 2015. Ironically, she was on the Bears team in 2018. You might remember Arizona and Baylor were tied at the end of stroke play and had to go to a 2-hole playoff to decide which team was going to go to the match play quarterfinals. Arizona ended up winning that 2-hole playoff, but they had to get there on that 30-foot dramatic eagle putt by Bianca Pagdagnanan just to get to that match play. I'm sorry, just to get to that playoff with Baylor that year. You'll remember Bianca had to hit that long putt, and then the Wildcats went on and won the 2-hole playoff to get into the match play quarterfinals, and then they eventually won the national championship, beating Alabama in the final. So the new head coach was actually on that team. Now, she did not play that day in the starting five for the Baylor Bears. So I'm not sure why she didn't play that day. She was a senior, but she did not play, but she was a part of that team that year that the Wildcats beat on their way to winning a national championship. So we'll get to know this young lady over the course of the next few weeks here or so. She's a native of Mexico City, Mexico. She sent out a tweet a little bit earlier, about an hour ago, and I'll read you what she had to say. So excited to be the new head coach for Arizona Women's Golf. A very special place to my Mexican heart. Truly an honor. Can't wait to get started. That's Giovana Maymon, who, again, like I said, she was a student athlete just 6 years ago. And now she's the head coach of your Arizona women's golf team. That's a pretty impressive rise through the assistant coaching ranks of college golf to get to this point where she could be a head coach. And I would imagine 6 years out, she can't be more than 28 years old, maybe 28, 29 years old. Giovana Maymon helped sign the number 2 ranked recruiting class for 2024 at Texas A&M. Signed the top golfer in the state of Texas and the state's 3rd ranked recruit in 2023. So Arizona loses their golf coach to the University of Texas. They go to rival Texas A&M to find their coach in Giovana Maymon, who will take over for Laura Ianello. Again, I had a chance to speak with Laura at the Sugar Skulls game the other night. Her and her husband, Jeff, extremely excited about this opportunity to go down to Austin. And again, she reiterated what we heard in the press conference she gave a few weeks ago when she said, when Chris Del Conte calls, he's like E.F. Hunting.
Well, I mean,
you got to listen.
They got the most money, and they just won the Directors' Cup this year, right?
Yeah, and 3 out of the last 4 Directors' Cups. Texas apparently is definitely the place to be. All right, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Cricket is out. We are joined by Christy. Christy is back.
Hello.
What is going on, young lady? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
We are. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
How's the mail business?
Well, sadly, I'm no longer in the mail business. No.
Well, what happened? Well, why not? You just got to get. It wasn't delivery. Wasn't all that it was cut up to be.
Oh no. I hurt my elbow, and because I was on my probationary period, and in the post office, if you get injured, you can be fired.
Oh, wow.
So before I could get fired, I quit.
Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. So what have you been doing with yourself then?
I've been traveling.
Okay.
I've been everywhere. I've been to Greece.
Wait, Greece?
Italy.
Wow,
Montenegro.
Okay.
Netherlands.
I need to get fired, Jada, right? Can I get fired so I can go travel the world?
You need to get, some kind of
that's
elbow
what happens
issue.
when you run off and get married and you go on a honeymoon.
Oh, you got married too?
I did.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
All right,
So,
man.
yeah, so life has been pretty amazing,
Okay, so
actually.
where did you go in Italy?
We went to Venice, and then we
Okay.
took a train to Verona.
All right.
Turns out the whole Romeo and Juliet, the little, what's it called, the balcony?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was added on about 50 years ago. It's a completely fictitious place.
Yeah.
And we were standing there waiting. There were so many people. It was a tiny, maybe a little bit bigger than like this room. And it was probably 250 people crammed in there. And my husband was like, "You want to go and look?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good. Let's go. I'm done."
Wow. And then where in Greece?
In Greece, I went to, oh goodness, you're making me think. Santorini was my favorite, and Mykonos. We went to
Okay.
Mykonos. It's very windy there. So as long as you stay in between the buildings, it's really cool.
Right.
But Santorini is like up on top of a cliff. And it is just amazingly beautiful.
Nice.
I
All right.
fell in love.
Well, give us the backstory on this young man. What does he do? Do we have to sign off on him? Or?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
JW has actually met
I
him
met him.
before,
Yeah, he's
so-
a very
yeah.
stand-up gentleman. He's a
Okay.
good dude.
All right.
He's a psychologist. He opened a school for people, children, and adults with disabilities in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow.
We live in Bahrain.
Wait, you live in
Yes,
live in
I
Bahrain.
moved to Bahrain, but it's summer, so we're off on summers. So we're here. We come home for the
Because
summer.
it's probably hotter in Bahrain.
Yeah,
than it
she
is
just flew
here.
back
Oh, yes.
real quick to fill in
and a
for some
lot more
traffic.
humid. You could actually swim through the air
Oh my
there.
gosh! Oh my gosh! Wow, you are just jet setting the life now.
I am.
Well, so we might not get this. Might be the last time we ever see you, huh?
Oh no, you guys can't get rid of me
okay.
that easy.
All
You keep
right.
trying, but I keep
Okay.
coming back. I'm like
There you
that
go.
fungus on your foot. You keep trying, but I just
you
keep
don't
coming
want
back.
to be that fungus on my foot. All right, Christy getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We have a new collision on Irvington Road east of Landing Center Drive. That's Landing Center Drive and Irvington Road. We also have an earlier collision on Northern Avenue and McGee Road. You can use La Cañada or Oracle Road instead. And we also have a speed enforcement zone in the area of Granada and Cushing. Please watch your speed in that area. We are under an excessive heat watch today with today's high of 104, tonight's overnight low 74, and tomorrow pretty much the same with the high around 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save money on both. Learn more at progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Again, that's progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Got a man wide open to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Arizona. Nobody close to Tetaroa McMillan.
DK on the sports tip. 3 to 6 weekdays.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
Elevate your outdoor living space this year using stone. Tanzite has developed stone decking crafted without any plastic composite materials to redefine durability. Visit Tanzite.com to see how stone decking doesn't scratch, stays cooler, isn't slippery, and has all the durability you would expect from stone, which is why it's guaranteed for life. At Tanzite.com, you will see how we developed stone to easily transform any ordinary wood deck. You can even make your deck waterproof for a dry space below. Versatile and adaptable, Tanzite is perfect for decks, stairs, over concrete, or ground applications. Visit Tanzite.com to start planning your project with a free 3D design and construction plan tailored to your space. Order a sample today to witness the incredible beauty and durability firsthand at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Give you just some programming announcements for this week. We've got 4 shows. 3 after today. We won't not have a show on Wednesday because of the Juneteenth holiday. So we're with you Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday will be our 1-year anniversary here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We've got a big announcement. A big announcement coming up for you on Thursday. Things are changing here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We will announce that for you coming up on Thursday. Big announcement, and I'm not talking about the $10,000 shopping spree to Bass Pro Shops, which I will give you a keyword to coming up in the I might give it to you in the next segment.
Can I guess? Is Taylor doing another tour?
Taylor Swift is not doing another tour. The Chiefs, though, I don't know if you know, the Chiefs had their ring ceremony.
Did they?
Last week. Matt Bushman out of Sabino High School has 2 rings. He was there. He and his wife. I think they just had another baby. So they've got 2 kids now. He's got 2 kids and 2 rings. This Matt Bushman out of Sabino High School.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
I mean, if you're going to go to an organization, the Chiefs are a pretty good one these days.
Pretty good one indeed. So congratulations to Matt Bushman. I mean, he'll have some stories to tell about. I believe it was New Year's Eve. He and his wife spent New Year's Eve with Taylor and Travis last New Year's Eve at a party. So he's definitely got some stories to tell, I'm sure, about his NFL career. Has not played a single down, but he's got 2 NFL rings. So that's pretty good living. Pretty good living there for Matt Bushman out of Sabino High School. All right. Again, Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tonight, and it'll be one last opportunity, well, potentially one of two last opportunities for Kyrie Irving to show his former fans in the Boston Celtics fan base what he has grown into since leaving them several years ago. Kyrie talked this afternoon about, the Mavs and how loose they've been in practice the last couple days after getting that win on Friday night.
I don't want you to mistake us smiling and joking around with each other and, being in practice, for a weakness or that we're not taking this any more serious than we were in Game 4. I just think we're here in Boston. We're just trying to settle ourselves. We had a meeting, just as a squad at the hotel where we went over film. So we're pretty locked in from there, and there was carryover into our early minutes in practice. And then when you guys come in, pretty much having fun. It's been this way since we were kids. We want to make sure we relish in this moment, don't take it for granted, and just ground ourselves here too. I think the last two games we were even more intense. When we were here in Boston, don't think we got as settled as we would have liked. So we just wanted to try some things a little different. A little bit more smiling, and then 24 hours from now getting ready for all-out battle against this great Celtics team.
You played in a place in Cleveland that had incredible pressure to win a championship because of the history, and they hadn't won in so long. I wonder, though, what was different about when you came here because of the history of this franchise and the almost expectation of this franchise that every year you're supposed to win a championship here, and if you don't, it's a complete failure.
Yeah, when I look back on it, getting traded here, this wasn't one of my options. It wasn't like number one on my list. So when the trade opportunity got approached to me, instead of going back and appreciating the Celtics history, I just came in with an open mind and just kind of like, all right, I'm just going to go with the flow into this. But I think that was the wrong approach, just being young. But now that I'm a little older, hindsight looking back on it, I definitely would have taken the time to get to know people within the community, talk to some of the champions that have come before me, actually extend myself to them instead of the other way around, expecting them to be there for me and give me advice. Because they've been through it. They have championship pedigree here. They've shown it for years. They're one of the most winningest franchise in all of sports. So you have to show your respects here. And I think that's what I struggled with initially, was figuring out how I'm going to be a great player here while winning championships, while also leading a team and selflessly joining the Celtics organization or the cult that they have here. And that's what they expect you to do as a player. They expect you to seamlessly buy into the Celtics pride, buy into everything Celtics, and if you don't, then you'll be outed. And I'm one of the people that's on the outs. I'm perfectly fine with that. You know what I mean? I did it to myself. They don't welcome me in with warm embrace, even though I know a lot of people in the organization, and my friends are still here, some of them. But, yeah, it was just a doing to myself, and that's what I was talking about in terms of accepting the choices. But looking back on it, definitely would have showed my respect and had more of a counsel around me from some of the Boston Celtics that came before me to explain what the pressure is like. So.
That was Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving talking about the looseness that the Mavs have now. Still down 3-1. Game 5 coming up in about an hour, 5:30.
Real quick,
DK. After 5:30 will be tip-off tonight in Boston.
You saw the, brimming with confidence young Kyrie in Cleveland. We said right there, basically, it was like when he got traded to Boston, he approached it as the world champion mentality, like I am the Kyrie Irving and all this stuff, and nobody here is going to be able to teach me anything type of thing. And in hindsight, clearly he's learned from that decision because, say what you will about the way he left Boston, but maybe it's not the way he left as much as the way he got there.
Yeah, again, that does not surprise me that he said that, just because of everything that happened in him initiating his departure from Cleveland and the way that went down, and to go into a new situation coming off of how he I like to term it, he broke up the family And so, yeah, you're maybe going to have that type of mentality when you believe that this is my time. This is my opportunity to be the lead dog, the top dog in a situation. And I'll go back to, again, what I've said the whole entire postseason is I just think he's grown up. He's done a lot of growing up. I think he's starting to mature, mature a lot more from the player that we've seen in Cleveland and in Boston and New Jersey. And that's going to only be beneficial for him and for this franchise as he continues to grow and continues to, to become a stronger man within himself. I think he's going to be a better player. He's going to be a stronger player as he continues to go on. It might not be this year. It's probably not going to be this year with where they are right now, but I could conceivably see him and Luka being a formidable, and we've talked about, what faces ahead of them in the Western Conference with the, you've mentioned obviously the likes of a very young Oklahoma State team, and Denver's still going to be there, and the Suns are going to be a second year in with what they've got, and then the T-Wolves who they beat to get to this point. So it's not going to be easy, but again, you've got two solid cornerstone pieces to build around as long as Kyrie, I believe, continues to take those steps.
That's the key right there.
Direction.
Like, he's 31. He's forced himself out of 3 different franchises at this point in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So you hope that, that guy who's been ordained since he was a senior in high school is the best player. I mean, he was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school. You hope that along the journey, maybe you start being less selfish and more selfless. And it sounds, me saying all the right things, DK. If I hear one day that Kyrie, sitting out games and forces himself out of Dallas, I will take back everything I just said about him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like to give people chances. I'm growth. You've said growth a lot. You would know him better than anybody, probably too. So you watched his career as a young man all through those Cleveland years. I would love to see a young person like that, 31 years old, he's still got a lot of life ahead of him. Maybe putting the ego aside a little bit, but when you become the reputation of being the star player that forces trades on a regular basis, it's hard to come back from that from the fan base's perspective.
Let's hear from Jason Kidd on Game 5 coming up for his Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I thought they were really good in Game 4. That helped us get to Game 5, but just, understand we can't have 3 on the ball. They're too good of being able to make that pass, and they're the best team at shooting the 3. So there's some things that we can clean up and that we're going to have to be better here in Game 5 if we want to win.
Again, we have the microphones around the room, so please raise your hand. We'll take questions. Over here, Sam, on the 4th row.
Hello, sir.
Oh, wow.
Good to see you again.
Good afternoon.
I saw a clip the other day of Ty Lue talking about the Cavs' 3-1 recovery against the Warriors a few years back. And on the one hand, it seems, cliche when you tell your team one game at a time, but he drilled that in. Like, I do not want you thinking about anything past this game. I imagine there's some version of that for you. How are you handling the mental focus to not look at the bigger picture?
Yeah, I think I think what helps is we were in that situation last game, and so not to change or deviate from what we talked about in Game 4 is just take each possession, one possession at a time, and hopefully we can put ourselves up winning each quarter, and we ended up doing that. Same thing that we're talking about today and tomorrow is we can only focus on Game 5 and trying to find a way to win here in Boston.
All right, that's Jason Kidd, the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, as the Mavericks get set for game number 5 tonight in Boston against the Celtics. We are about an hour away from a tip-off, and it could be coronation night for the Celtics as they look to win their 18th title in NBA history. And JW said that breaks the tie, correct?
Yeah, I guess I missed the part where when the Lakers won the bubble championship, they tied. So, yeah, both franchises with 17 currently.
Yeah, 2020. LeBron did win a title there in Los Angeles. It was in the bubble in a shortened season.
It's in an old Chinese proverb.
Yeah, right.
Is if you win a title and there's no fans there, did it happen?
Did it happen? Yeah, exactly. I think they'll tell you that. I think he would at least tell you that it did.
They've got a big gold trophy in their case to prove that it did.
All right, straight ahead, WNBA, we'll dive into that. It was a busy weekend on that front. We had yet another controversy involving Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And Caitlin put on probably best game in the WNBA yesterday. 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. Came up just short of what would have been her first triple-double in the WNBA. But again, it was not without controversy. We'll hear from Caitlin Clark. We'll hear from her head coach. We'll hear from Angel Reese, as well as the Phoenix Mercury get another win. The Phoenix Mercury get another win as well. All of that is coming up, as well as we're going to talk some soccer. Sebastian Pineda will join us from FC Tucson as well, straight ahead. DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. J-Dub is here. Christy's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. We have a new collision on East River Road and Stone Avenue. That's Stone Avenue and East River Road. Earlier collision on Irvington east of Landing Center Drive, still causing quite a bit of slowing. And we still have that speed enforcement zone near Granada and Cushing. Please watch your speed in that area. Today's high of 104, overnight low 74, and tomorrow's high around 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save money on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Again, that's Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
In the market for a new Silverado, but you've been waiting for discounts or incentives? Well, they're here. And so is our best selection of Silverados in years. And you can see them without even leaving your house at O'Reilly.com.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. If you're driving right now, you may not be thinking about your tires, but chances are they've been tested before. Like that time you swerved to avoid the stray shopping cart that rolled into the street from nowhere? Or when you had a green light but did some extreme braking because another driver decided to turn left in front of you? And we've all had to navigate monsoon downpours that turned our streets into Arizona's largest slip and slide. At Jack Furrier's, we've helped Arizona drivers navigate these extreme moments for over 60 years with the right tires, the best deal, and a huge in-stock selection of the brands you trust. And now's the time to save big with the most rebates we've seen all year on the brands you love, like Michelin, Cooper, and Uniroyal tires, with up to $100 back all month long. And Jack Furrier cardholders get back another $30. Check out jackfurriers.com for details on all our sizzling summer savings. So for all those critical moments where your tires make the difference, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style. And top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson is your one-stop motorcycle shop. They have a huge selection of new and used inventory and will even pay retail for most trades. Their fantastic range of motor clothes, parts, and top-notch service technicians are here to take your bike to the next level. Skip the hassle and experience a quick and easy process exclusively at Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at oldpuebloharley.com. That's oldpuebloharley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Year after year, Lerner Rowe is voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. You may wonder why.
The answer is quite simple. Learner Row is so popular because we give every client excellent service and a superior experience. But also the main reason is results. We've recovered billions of dollars for our clients with over $1 billion collected in the last 5 years alone. Our phone lines are always open and our legal team is standing by right now, waiting for your call.
Learner Row is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Introducing Tanzite Stone Tile Flooring, a game changer in the tile industry. Say goodbye to the trade-off between durability and easy installation with Tanzite's revolutionary indoor-outdoor stone tile. Visit Tanzite.com to see how our tile is installed without concrete or mortar. Instead, our innovative rubber gasket system connects the tiles together. Each tile coming pre-assembled, you simply grab one and place it. No expertise needed. At Tanzite.com, you can see how our foam-back tiles contour to cover any existing floor while insulating against sound and cold. Beautiful and versatile. Tanzite tile adapts to indoor or outdoor use, from kitchens to patios, on concrete basements or wooden decks. All with the durability of stone that's guaranteed for life. Witness this innovative product yourself and order a sample today at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. FC Tucson's men's side split their games this past week. Got a chance to get out there and see the fellas on Tuesday night. The boys in black, unfortunately, lost to Capo FC by a score of 3-1, but they bounced back on Saturday night at Keno North Stadium, getting a win over Redlands FC by a score of 5-1. We're pleased to be joined by the manager of a FC Tucson men's side, a former player for the side back in its previous life in what was known as the PDL, which is now USL League 2. He is Sebastian Pineda. And Sebastian, appreciate you taking some time to join us. Just your reaction to the week, that game. I mentioned I was at the game on Tuesday night against Capo FC, and they got a really quick goal in that one, and you guys were kind of playing from behind the whole night. How tough is that when you get down real quick?
Yeah, of course, David. Good to talking to you. So it was that game was tough just because we had 3 games in 4 days. So I think that the energy, the legs were tired, and the Capo surprises. They came to play, they came to compete, and it was surprising for the guys, kind of like a shock. And from there, the guys kept working. We created some chances, but unfortunately, we couldn't turn it around. But the message that week was we had another game on Saturday against a good team, and we came back and responded with 5 goals. So that's a great response from the team.
Yeah, this has not been an easy, schedule for you guys. You've played a number of games on the road once USL League 2 play started, and that was actually your first league home game. How have you guys kind of navigated get that part of it, having to play all those road games right off the top?
The guys coming in, they knew what to expect, so we made it a challenge for the guys that we needed to get as many points as we could on the road, and then after those five first games, we had an opportunity to come home and be very strong at home and wait for other teams to come and compete against us in our stadium, which is bigger than any other stadium that we play on at that level. So the guys were ready for it. We competed very well in the away games, and unfortunately the first game we couldn't get it done, but hopefully guys understand the good team that we have, and we can move forward from here.
So obviously you mentioned you guys had to play those 3 games in 5 days, and then we talked to Devin Slingsby after that loss last Tuesday night, and he said, yeah, we got the day off on Wednesday. How did you like the way they came back, the mindset they came back with after having the day off?
It was great. I think that the message was clear for me. We had an opportunity here to either keep moving forward or we stay where we are. And the guys, it's a competitive group. They have the right mentality, so they came back and performed well. I mean, we did the same thing that Capital did to us. We did it to our team. On Saturday, we scored a goal in the first minute, and it's a completely different game from that.
We're chatting with Sebastian Pineda. He is the manager for FC Tucson. The fellas sitting in a stacked division this year. Obviously, Ventura County Fusion, one of the top teams in the country. They're back out in front, but things are kind of stacked up there fighting for that second position in the conference. Let's talk about some of the guys that we've had a chance to kind of chat with the last few weeks on our program. We'll start with, I mentioned Devin Slingsby. What's he kind of added to your team as a young man that kind of plays that midfield position for you?
Well, Devin is a guy from last year where he was a starting right back for us, and this year I had the opportunity to bring him back, so it's a great personality for the locker room. He's a guy that is very likable by the teammates, and he's a guy that I can always count on. I know he's going to give his 100% every game, so I'm very happy he's back.
How many of those types of opportunities do you say you have yearly to be able to bring a guy back from last year? But obviously, you're dealing with a collegiate situation where kids will maybe not play every year, play different places every year. But how many opportunities do you have to bring guys back from year to year?
It's a tough one because it also depends on the year that they're in school. Do they get drafted? It's just many different factors that affect that. But for example, this year we're able to bring 3 or 4 guys into the locker room, and it was big. Last year being the first year back in the USL2, the whole group was new. But this year, just having that experience and having guys that have worn the jersey before, it just creates a different environment in the locker room. So every time I have that opportunity to bring someone that I think can help on that side, I'm always open to that.
DeAndre Pickett is another one. We have a chance to obviously see him play in high school here locally. He's a kid that came up in the Tucson FC Tucson Soccer Academy system, high-level performer at Pima College this past year with Dave Cosgrove's fine outfit over there. Break down his game for me and what really impresses about DeAndre.
I've been fortunate enough to see DeAndre grow in the past 2 years. He was with me in the academy, and he was one of the main guys, and I had him at the club level as well. So he's someone that we've been together for the past years, and I have seen him grow. Every single time I see him, he just has been able to add something to his game. And I had a good conversation with him at the beginning of the year, and I told him, this year you have an opportunity to keep growing, keep learning from guys that have more experience than you. And I think that he's taking that very seriously, and you can see him perform. I mean, he had the opportunity to play 90 minutes past Saturday and score a goal. So that's great from a guy from Tucson that keeps developing and keeps performing at a high level.
We're chatting with Sebastian Pineda, the manager for FC Tucson. Fellas split their games this past week here at home. We had a chance prior to Saturday night's game to chat with your goalkeeper, Alex Sventnoff. He had mentioned that he was playing with Chicago FC last year at this level. How were you guys able to kind of connect with him and get him out here on the western side of the world?
This is recruiting work, just connections that we have as a staff. Of course, me trusting my goalkeeper coach, Victor, that has good connections and has done the work to bring quality goalkeepers. So he was able to connect to the Louisville staff, and being able to get a guy of that caliber is just a plus for us and a bonus that we have someone that we trust in goal. So far, he has done great.
Is he young, I guess, in terms of goalkeepers in this league, and I don't remember I think he's only played 1 year. I think he missed a year, and he's only played 1 year in college. I don't remember much younger goalkeepers back when like when you were playing at this level. It seemed like the goalkeepers were generally a little bit older.
Yes, no, definitely. He's a younger guy, which is the kind of profile we were looking for, an American guy that had a high ceiling, and I think we found it on him. He's a great guy, great person, great player to have around, and plus he performs very well on the field, and I think he's going to keep growing, and I think he has a very high ceiling, so hopefully we can see him keep growing and see where this world of soccer can take him.
Now, in terms of you, obviously, first year as the head coach, how have you kind of grown into this thing? 7 games in, how are you feeling about the way you thought it would line up and the way that things have played out on the pitch so far?
It's been a learning experience every day. I can tell you that. Those first 5 games away were very tough on everybody, especially the last 2 coming back playing at home. But I think that I have a lot of support from the club, from the front office, from my staff, and they keep, we communicate very well. We talk a lot. We try to find the right players to bring in, the right rotations. When you have so many games, you got to rotate legs and make sure the guys are ready to go. And unfortunately, we got that loss at home. That is the one that I think hurts the most. But the guys know that the goal now. The goal now is to be undefeated at home, and that's the challenge that we have in front of us. Having very good teams coming to play us, but from my side, it's a day-by-day type of task, and I'm excited about it. Still excited.
Obviously, you've got one of the smartest guys I've ever known in terms of soccer, hanging above you, and John Perlman. What's the biggest piece of advice that JP's given you?
He's very involved on the technical side this year. Him and I have a good relationship, and we communicate very often. Just talking about the lineups, just everything on the technical side. But the main thing is he knows that I like when he comes to me and tells me very direct stuff, very detailed stuff. So when he comes to the locker room and talks to me about how I'm managing the player, am I caring about the people? Do I still find joy in what I'm doing? So he just keeps me going mentally more than on the soccer side, more on the personal side, and that's the part I appreciate the most from him. He knows me very well, so to get the best out of me.
Sebastian Pineda joining us. He is the manager for FC Tucson's men's side. The guys will be back home again this Friday night at Keno North Stadium. It'll be Pride Night against the SoCal Eagles, who will be in town. I believe this is the first time you've played SoCal. How much advanced scouting do you do? Do you worry a lot about do you watch? Are you guys watching a lot of tape of the opponents, or is it more the focus on what you need to do out there as a team?
I think we watch enough amount of tape just to know the tendencies and trends that the team has. So just for this game will be the same thing. We will try to give team information, basic information, where they attack, how they defend, so we're ready for it. But at the end of the day, I want us to keep improving as a team. We got to clean up little things that didn't go well in the last game, that we want to be better at it, and I think the players feel the same way, and we're preparing that way. First us, and of course they will get information about the team, but it comes down to us at the end of the day.
SoCal Eagles will come in here. They just have 3 points, so they're at the bottom of the table. Again, right now, Ventura County Fusion at 19 points. AMSG is 13, and FC Tucson and Arizona Arsenal right there in third place with 11 points each. In terms of, you mentioned the recruiting side of it, Sebastian. In terms of that, is most of that for you as the head coach done in the off season? Are you, even maybe if you see a guy on a team right now that you think could potentially be a fit for your system, are you making mental notes that, hey, maybe this is a guy we try to make some contact with in the off season and see if maybe he wants to come over here and play for us?
Yeah, the main recruiting, of course, happens on the off season. That's when you try to bring the main players. But we have had injuries throughout the summer where players have to go home. So I'm always, looking here, talking there, trying to find the connections. And, yeah, definitely looking at different teams, see the players that stand out. And you never know in a playoff run. You can make a phone call. They might be interested, and that could happen. That's just part of the league as well. So recruiting really never stops in terms of the summer because you don't know what's going to happen throughout it. So some other players coming in later in the summer. So, and I expect an impact from them as they come in.
And who are maybe I know in the past you guys have had some of the academy kids that'll come up and train. Who are some of those maybe one or two kids that have had that opportunity as trialists this year?
We have a couple of the 2006 guys that, I will call it the next academy pack that we have. And, Leo Gutierrez, I know is a guy that scored a lot of goals here in the high school level. And then Mauri Velasquez, those are the two of the main young guys that have had the opportunity to come in this summer and train. And, the idea is that these guys hopefully in the future can get more opportunities with the summer team, just like you're seeing Brandon Sashes, DeAndre Pickett this year with the first team.
There you go. Well, again, it'll be Friday night this week for the fellas, the men in black against the Southern California Eagles. Friday night, 7 o'clock at Keno North Stadium for kickoff. Sebastian, best of luck Friday night. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
I appreciate you, Davey, and hopefully we can see lots of fans this Friday and the team can put on a show for everybody.
There you go. There you go. Sebastian Pineda, former player for FC Tucson on the USL 2 level back in the Premier Development League days, and now the head coach in his first season leading the side. Again, right now tied for third place in the division with the arch rival Arizona Arsenal Soccer Club. Friday night, head on out to Keno North Stadium for the game against the Southern California Eagles. All right, one more hour to go here on this Monday. DK on the Sports Tip. We'll dive into what happened in the WNBA. We'll get you more set for the NBA Finals Game 5 coming up bottom of the hour, 5:30. We'll update you on what's happening in the College World Series as well. A winner's bracket game happening as we speak in Omaha.
Do you have some news?
Oh, news. Breaking news.
Kristaps Porzingis has been cleared and has 0-minute restrictions.
Oh, there we go. So Kristaps is back for what could be clinch night in Boston. Good news for the Boston Celtics and for Celtics fans. If you are a Celtics fan, we want to hear from you tonight. 520-848-1290. How excited are you? J-Dub, this will be the first title since 2008 when Paul Pierce and Garnett and those guys won it.
That's correct, yeah.
So it's been 16 years since the C's raised the trophy, and they could do it tonight. There's been a lot of winning in Boston this century. Celtics trying to add to that once again. DK on the Sports Tip. J-Dub is here along with Christy. My name is David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. We have a couple new collisions, East River Road and Stone Avenue. That's Stone Avenue and East River Road, causing quite a bit of slowing for east and westbound River Road at Stone Avenue. Continental Road and I-19 Frontage Road, and quite a bit of slowing from an earlier collision on Irvington Road east of Landing Center Drive. Excessive heat watch today with today's high of 104, overnight low 74, and tomorrow pretty much the same with a high of around 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. If you know me, you know that there's something I absolutely hate to do. A term that I refuse to use. It's something that I keep under glass and I only break in the case of true emergencies. But I've got to bust it out right now because of what I saw at the U.S. Open yesterday. Rory McIlroy choked yesterday. Truly a choke for the ages. Now, there is a flip side to Rory's choke job, Bryson DeChambeau. That dude did not choke at all. That guy was tough, clutch, winning his second U.S. U.S. Open with one of the best up and downs you will ever see, and then kicking off a party at Pinehurst that might still be going on right now. Rory had won the tournament. It was over. But when you start missing putts from inside of 3 feet and you crack that door in slightly, of course Bryson knocked it down. My man, that was an omnipotent choke job.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Good news, everybody.
We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
On a mission to protect free speech, Rumble is one of the only video sharing platforms where you can watch genuine content for free. Rumble is available on desktop, mobile, and connected TV, featuring bold, influential voices. Rumble gives you the freedom to be entertained with exclusive creators, action-packed sports, lively debates, and more. And now you can cut cable. Download the Rumble TV apps and watch independent media on the big screen. Creators such as Steven Crowder at 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday, Kimberly Guilfoyle at 4 p.m. Eastern Mondays and Thursdays, Glenn Greenwald at 7 p.m. Eastern Monday through Friday, and Don Jr. at 6 p.m. Eastern Mondays and Thursdays. Rumble is the place to find authentic expression from creators, a place where we do not censor, but rather believe that everyone should benefit from access to a network full of more ideas, diverse opinions, and dialogue. Join Rumble, where people are given the freedom to be entertained by exclusive content from creators who are empowered to express themselves freely. Visit rumble.com or download the app and watch for free.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
We are going to get to this Bijan Robinson stuff today. We've been trying to get to this for a while, but I'm watching this College World Series game. What are these strings that this pitcher for Kentucky has hanging out of his glove? And we just lost the TV signal. Did you lose your TV signal over there? No, I just lost my TV signal, and I'm not touching anything.
Weird.
Just as I'm about to talk about this guy and all these strings that he's got hanging out of his glove, that's got to be a violation. Now, they're black. If they were white, it probably would be a violation because you can't have anything like that's white that looks like the baseball.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
But that would just be, I don't know what that is. It's like the stuff that you use to tighten the things you have going through your glove, but they're just like hanging down. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like that, and I can't see it currently because I lost my picture here in the studio. All right.
Well,
I don't know what happened there.
Baseball is a game of superstition, so one would assume that whatever he's got going on there with his glove, it's to make him feel comfortable on the mound.
We'll have to get to the bottom of that for tomorrow. What are all these things? See there? Okay, I got it back now. It's like dreadlocks hanging out of his glove.
Yeah, his glove just needs a little haircut.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. If anybody knows any baseball, if you play baseball or you've seen that glove or seen somebody with that glove or you know what that glove is, please let us know. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Texas A&M and Kentucky in a winner's bracket game. It is 0-0 playing in the top of the fourth in Omaha right now. Winner is in the 2-0 position, needing to be beaten twice to be kept out of the finals. So that's where we are. They're trying to get where Tennessee currently sits, the Volunteers, who are the number one seed in the tournament.
I think I'm rooting for the Volunteers if I had to pick.
Yeah.
If memory serves, they have never won a title, right? And they were that's a team that was number one a lot of the season.
If I have to root for an SEC team,
isn't that the one with the manager who had the big diatribe last week about what success is? Yeah. Exactly. I got to root for those guys.
Yeah, Tony Vitello. When I have to play this, I didn't have time to go looking for this today, but I read it over the weekend, and it's fascinating when you talk about baseball all the time and how the best hitters in baseball fail 7 out of 10 times.
Right.
And apparently Roger Federer gave a graduation speech somewhere. I don't know what school it was at earlier this year. And he talked about how, obviously Roger Federer, one of the greatest tennis players on the planet. I don't know how many majors he's won, but it's got to be 20 plus. He said, so he's won 80% of his matches all time. But he broke it down even further than that. I'm going to ask you this question, J-Dub. What percentage of points do you think he's won in his career, being one of the greatest all time, having won 80% of his matches?
Well, I would say on average his games are like 40-15 or something like that. So probably 75%.
He said he's only won 54% of his points.
Yeah.
Of his points in his career. And he said one of the ways he looks at it is that you have to be able to get past that point. It doesn't matter if I hit it between my legs down the line and it's the most beautiful passing shot ever. It's just that point.
Yeah.
And once that point is over, you move on to the next one. And when you know that you're only winning just over 50% of your points, he says it's easy. It's easy to put points behind you. I would not have thought I go back to what I was saying about baseball. You think about that. Think about you're failing in baseball. You're only succeeding in baseball 30% of the time, and you're considered to be one of the best.
We could quickly take a right turn and parlay this into the story that came out today about a certain college football coach.
Oh, yeah.
Les Miles is suing Louisiana State University because 37 games were taken away 10 years ago, right? In a a pay-for-play scandal. And it put him below the threshold, which apparently, DK, is you have to coach 100 games, you have to coach for at least 10 years, and you have to have a plus 600 winning percentage to be eligible for the Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And because those games got taken away, he is now at a 597 winning percentage for his career. You were mentioning our favorite guy up in Washington State.
Mike Leach.
Mike Leach,
is in the same
unfortunately,
situation.
tragically passed away one win away, DK. He's one win. If he had one more win on his record, then he would be eligible for that 600 threshold. But, yeah.
59.6% is what Mike Leach has. And you have to be at 60%.
So you're talking about Federer wins 55% of his points. Winning 59.7% of your college games that you coached
puts you in the Hall of Fame.
The most difficult conference in college football history is not good enough to get you in the Hall of Fame.
No, that's crazy. And so the debate with Mike Leach is, do you make an exception for him? But a lot of people are saying, well, the rules are the rules. The thresholds are the thresholds. Like, you can't just lower the thresholds for one guy because he tragically passed away and is no longer here. If the threshold is 60% or 600%, he's not there. He's at 596. That's a tough debate to have, but and I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think, and it goes back to, and here's the other thing. I think when you talk about this and how it relates to Mike Leach. Mike Leach was an innovator. He was a coach that came up with a scheme that a lot of people, or he didn't really come up with it because I think coaches before him, he kind of molded it off of the coaches that he learned it from, but molded it into his own. He's thought more of as an innovator, I think, than a dynamic winning head coach.
I'm super distracted by this shocking blue mustache of the gentleman up to bat right now for the Kentucky Wildcats. Apparently, all of them have dyed all their facial hair Kentucky blue. So
there's some there's strange stuff when you get to Omaha. There's strange. We can go back to when the Wildcats, when Arizona was there. They did. Remember the one year they had the well, we were talking about this, I think, last week. Robbie Medell, and they had the band thing where they would they would make the videos of them air guitaring songs. That was kind of that team's thing.
Yeah,
they've had every team has a shtick. It seems like when they get to, obviously the Wildcats this year came up with the banana halfway through the season. All of a sudden, bananas came into the picture.
We were watching one of those two postseason games, Paige and I, and she's like, "What's up with the bananas?" And I said, "Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They got this thing with bananas."
Nobody wanted to really wanted to take credit for it. It was just kind of nobody really. It's like the mafia. You don't want to talk about it.
Right.
We don't talk about it.
Well, I think it's like look good, play good, feel good. That whole thing. If it's holding a bunch of bananas on your hat makes you play better, and there's a formula to that within your clubhouse, get after it.
So just getting back real quick to finish the Mike Leach point, are we leaving enough room for guys that change the game through their philosophy?
Right. Well, there should be multiple avenues by that point. So, like the standard 100-game, 10-year, 60% winning percentage, that's a really good threshold for a coach to be in. But let's say hypothetically a person invented the air raid offense and you want to put them in the Hall of Fame for invented the air raid offense, which took off and a bunch of other schools copied that and made its way to the NFL, and you want to put them in for that reason.
Exactly.
You should be allowed to do that, yes.
I think so. I absolutely agree with that. What do you think? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Did not know that's where we were going with the beginning of this segment, but Mike Leach, should he be in? It's been a topic of conversation all weekend long in terms of the College Football Hall of Fame. Should he be in, even though he hasn't met the 600 winning percentage threshold? Because he was the master of the air raid offense. It was something innovative to the game. Is that enough to get him in to make up for that 4/100ths of a percentage point that he's short of qualifying for? All right, when we come back, Bijan Robinson is in year 2 with the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to let you hear from Bijan Robinson talking about his new coach, his new quarterback in Kirk Cousins, and the player he thinks he will ultimately be compared to in his career moving forward. It's DK on the Sports Tip. My name's David Kelly. J-Dub is here. Christy is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by Park Place Management. We have a new collision on 12th Avenue and Irvington Road. That's Irvington Road and 12th Avenue. Earlier collision on East River Road and Stone Avenue in the clearing stages. We also have a report of a stalled vehicle on East Gulf Links Aviation off-ramp and quite a bit of slowing on westbound Ina Road as you approach Oracle Road. Today's high was a 104, overnight low 74, tomorrow high 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is your chance to snap up summer's best deals. Save up to $700 on top brands and get a free adjustable base when you buy. Get matched today with quality mattresses at every price for your best rest. Restrictions apply.
Escape the ordinary and indulge in a world of excitement at Park Place Mall. Discover endless possibilities with over 100 stores, restaurants, and entertainment options. Join them for the monthly Kids Club, Yappy Hour, and seasonal events. From fashion to food, it's all at Park Place Mall, where you belong.
What makes 1290 different than any other radio station in Tucson? 1290 is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. What makes 1290 different than any other radio station in Tucson? 1290 is the home of the Arizona Wildcats, the NFL, and the Super Bowl. Winner. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you could save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Jansen. You've heard me sing about Bass Pro in my latest single, What You See Is What You Get.
Go out to Bass Pro, yeah, 'cause that's my second home.
Well, now I'm going to hook one of you up with a $10,000 shopping spree to pick out all your favorite Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's branded gear on me.
But I ain't trying to hide what you see is what you get.
Just text the national keyword SPREE to 95819. That's SPREE to 95819 for your shot at a $10,000 shopping spree at Bass Pro Shops. Your chance to win is only on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Rumble is on a mission to give people the freedom to be entertained. Join Rumble and enjoy exclusive content from creators who are empowered to express themselves freely. Visit rumble.com or download the app and watch for free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! No, it's...
I'm Captain Tobacco from Tobacco Barn.
My tobacco hero.
I'm here to wipe out high prices on tobacco products. I'm also here to inform citizens that you can save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products. Pay no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn and save up to another $3 with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. Uh-oh, I see high prices. Excuse me.
Save up to 40% off all your tobacco products at Tobacco Barn. Tobacco Barn is on the Indian Reservation, so you're not paying state tax or any city sales tax. Plus, you can get a coupon for an additional $3 off at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Take it from Captain Tobacco. Save up to 40%. Save with no city or state sales tax. And save with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com. Well, time for me to fly.
Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Are you facing plumbing problems and need a reliable solution? Whether it's a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or an upgrade to a tankless water heater, Right Way has you covered. And for a limited time only, we're offering 10% off your next repair or installation. Don't let plumbing issues ruin your day. Call Right Way at 520-276-2775. We'll get a plumber to your door. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app.
Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users.
The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by T-Mobile. Congratulations to swimming legend Katie Ledecky, who qualified for her 4th Olympics this weekend. The 7-time gold medalist clinched her spot in the Summer Games with a victory in the 400-meter freestyle at the U.S. Swim Trials. Ledecky is already one of the greatest Olympic swimmers of all time, and she is 1 gold medal away from tying Jenny Thompson for most in women's swimming history. In 2012, Ledecky won her first gold medal in London, and she's been dominating the sport ever since. The 27-year-old may have released a memoir last week, but her storied career is still being written.
I mean, I talk about this in the book. Like, I never thought I would make it there. I never dreamed of that as a young kid, to make an Olympics. So that's the perspective that I think I've been able to maintain, and that keeps me focused and keeps me enjoying the sport so much, enjoying the teammates and the people that are around me.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Maggie Gray on Westwood One.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. Like 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. Switch today.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome Plan benefits.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. All right, we're talking about Bijan Robinson, South Point Catholic High School grad, left here and went to the University of Texas for his college days, now about to embark on his 2nd season in the National Football League. Bijan has been dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury coming off of the off season, or the end of the season, and into the off season part of the Falcons program. He's got a new head coach in Raheem Morris. He's got a new quarterback in Kirk Cousins. Bijan talked about the ankle injury that he has been dealing with and more at Falcons camp earlier this month.
Yeah, I feel great. I know that I had to continue to rehab it and just get comfortable being back to myself. But it's good. It's good being back on the field with the guys, and it's tough. Being in there while they're at practice, and me trying to get it back. But I feel good, and it just feels good. It's a blessing to be back.
Was it something that was kind of lingering from the season, or did it happen maybe after the season? Or
yeah, it was kind of lingering from the season, but I was training on it the whole time, and I was going hard, and it was something that I felt, but didn't really feel too bad. So when I got back to the trainers, and I was the first 2 weeks of OTAs, I was in the workouts and everything, rolling. And then I was like, let me try to check this out. And so that's when we found that out. And then I was like, all right, well then let me just try to get back to 100%. And then that's what I did. So it's good to be back.
Was it a sprain or
yeah, like a light sprain. But it was just kind of feeling weird, on the side. So I was just trying to make sure I don't feel it at all. before I come back, and that's what we all agreed on by the time I got back today.
Where are you now, like on a scale of 1 to 100, like 80%, 60%?
Well, like physically, like I'm great. I'm close to 100, but just trying to get my like breathing back. Obviously, it was good to do everything today, but just trying to get back to like that football shape is what I'm trying to get to right now.
What from the start of training camp, OTAs until now, what were your personal expectations and your goals going into OTAs?
Can you say that one more time?
So what were your personal expectations and goals going into OTAs?
Yeah, just leadership, really. Me still being a young guy, but understanding that me just trying to be a great leader for these guys, and new guys coming in, and for what we did last year, it was good to have the leaders that we already do have with Jesse, Grady. Obviously Kirk and Drake, Kyle, like everybody there. So it's for me, not being on the field, I was trying to be a good leader off the field and helping out the young guys and helping everybody get back to their form. So, now that I'm out there today and, continuing that leadership and, still just leading by example is what I liked about today.
What have your first impressions of Kirk Cousins been?
Yeah, obviously he's been in the league for a long time. So, he already established everything that he's done. But I think here, obviously he brings that leadership. But, the cool thing with him is like having a quarterback that studies so much. And I saw his like little like play sheet that he has and his spot sheet and like him throwing into different spots, and he throws them into those kind of spots in practice. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. So just having a guy that obviously can sling the ball, but is really particular on what he does and the little details, and even when me and him just work, how he wants me to run certain routes and how he wants me to get open is always great information. So like having a guy like that who's already in my opinion, a top 10 quarterback, but having a guy to go out there and really show it's been fun to have him.
What have you taken away from those conversations when he pulls you aside and you guys are going over certain things that he wants you to do?
Yeah, the thing I like about him is like, he's not trying to take away the gifts that God given us players. Like, it's little snippets here and there, and he's like, just do what you do, but we can do it like this or try doing it like this and seeing how it goes, and having him tell me those kind of things, like I don't think I've really had somebody like really like sit down and tell me what to do and how to do it, because I'm already like trying to outsmart everybody. But really listening to him and really just taking all the information and feedback that he has for me, I take that serious, and I really appreciate him for that.
I can tell that you're really excited just talking about working with a guy like Kirk Cousins. When did you start to feel that excitement, like, hey, he's here, he can make me better, and we can work well together? Yeah,
it was the first couple weeks of OTAs, when I was still on the field, and we weren't in team stuff yet, but it was like us going out as an offense, doing all the plays and, going full speed reps. Like when I saw him, get me the ball in different ways, I was like, man, this dude he's legit. So I think obviously he's doing it now, but I knew back when we were, when I was still out there running with offense and getting everything comfortable.
Bijan, so much is made about quarterback development and chemistry with his wide receivers. You're used in so many different ways. How do you go about, collaborating and developing that chemistry when you're threat out of the backfield in the ground game? How does that work with Kirk?
Yeah, it's the same thing. So having the chemistry with the receivers, and like what I said, like me and him having chemistry, because what Zach does with me is similar to last year. So, and it's good to have somebody like him who can dish it to everybody, but. We had to build that chemistry. Obviously, I couldn't do it for the past like 3 or 4 weeks. But now that we're out there and now that he's getting me the ball in certain spots, I think it's going to be fun to watch. And even just all the other guys out there that can get open and that has that kind of access, it just opens it up for me, for myself, for all the running backs, and just for them as well.
I know last year was so much of a learning stage for you, but this year, now you've had a year in working with Kirk, have you gone to Zach or Kirk and said, hey, let's try this, or collaborate on any, how much have you done with that?
Yes,
I want to share, please do.
I've done it a lot. Me and Zach talk every day just about these kind of routes, and how we can get open on some different things, or how we can use the scheme to just affect a linebacker, DB, a safety. But we talk every day, man. And it's good to have communication like that, obviously, because last year, like, I was trying to learn everything and get everything down for what the offense was already. But this year, with the new offense and how to install with that and how I can ask questions now and how we can come to agreements, it's been really fun to be a part of that.
You do feel comfortable going to them and saying, hey, let's try this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Kyle just called Kirk super dad. How does that dad energy feel?
No, it's really crazy though. Like me and Kirk, we're right next to each other in the locker room. So like, I'll say a story. Like one time I was like, bro, we were saying something that, he's done and like back in the day, how I say it. And I was like, bro, like I was born in 2002, and he was like, bro, like I was in like 8th, 7th grade. I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, you're, I think Kirk is old enough to be my dad, like real talk. But I love that dude, man. We always joke around with him. Like I always joke with him, and he takes it, so good and so easy. So, that's the fun of it. Like when you have a guy that's right next to you that can have fun and take all the jokes and still like be focused on the field. It's always good to have somebody like that.
He said he's been injecting his personality into the play calling. What have you seen as far as that with Kirk?
Yeah, I mean, same. I mean, with Kirk, like when he calls a play, it's so clear and you can hear everything that he's saying in the play. But I think the good thing with him is like if he does make a mistake, like he owns up to that mistake, and he'll call everybody back, and we'll readjust and reconvene, and then we'll just go out there and just execute the play again. So he's that particular in like what he does and how he calls plays, how he throws the ball, how he tries to angle everything, even how he hands off the ball. Like he'll always ask me like, was that good? Like, was it good enough? So having a guy that's like that is the difference maker for what we got.
Is the run game in this scheme going to be noticeably different? I mean, the Falcons were one of the highest usage, I think, of the wide zone last year. Do you still expect to be running that a lot, or are there differences? How would you kind of describe this scheme?
Yeah. I mean, still run the wide zone, but there's so many other run schemes that we have now that I love and that I ran in college, and that I can't wait to run. We're good on like getting him off the wide zone and then going to something else and going back to it. Like I think there's so much that we can do with that and that we are doing with that, and that's what makes your run game so elite when you have a lot of different things that you can do and a lot of different options with the run game. And that's what we're doing.
And last year we talked so much about you talked about how much they wanted to use you in all these different ways. Have you had conversations about paring that back at all and just kind of using you more as a runner, or are you still expected to do a lot of the things that was kind of put on your plate last year?
Yeah, so I'm going to be more of a runner that does everything else. Like not as much, I don't know what the plan is, but like it's like run nerd first, like I did in college, and then still having that access to go to receivers, still having access to do creative things out the backfield. More so like like how they use Christian down there in San Francisco, like something like that. So that's kind of what like the plan is here.
Yeah, Bijan, how's your off season been, and how was it like getting back out there today after I guess it was ankle, right?
Yeah. It's been good. Obviously, like I haven't been out there with the guy, so it was kind of frustrating. But for me, I just know that everything's in God's plan, and God has a plan for me to do everything. So now me being back out there with the guys and feeling really good, it was a great feeling, and I didn't really hold nothing back either. So I was just full go and felt great. And so it's good to get out there and be with the teammates again and have fun out there. But yeah, these past 4 weeks it's been a process. But now to be back with the team, especially for this last week, it feels really good.
All right, that's Bijan Robinson, Tucson native, South Point Catholic Lancer, talking about his upcoming second season with the Atlanta Falcons, his new quarterback. Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is old enough to be my dad. That's got to be really. It's one of those really weird situations where you get sometimes quarterbacks. You get a guy like Brady who, can play into his 40s, and then you got these kids in their 20s.
I was gonna say sometimes isn't the average running back age 23 and the average quarterback age is 32?
Yeah.
I bet you it's pretty it's pretty common that you get a young running back and a quarterback who's in their 10th plus season.
Yeah. So we'll hear from Kirk Cousins and Raheem Morris on Bijan Robinson coming up. But first, I want to tell you about a sweet deal that I've got for you. Last it was Rolly's Mexican Patio. Last week, it was Rolly's Mexican Patio. This week, it's Jeremiah's Italian Ice at Oracle and Ina. Now, I didn't grow up, but I spent a lot of my summers growing up in Philadelphia, where Italian ice is the thing of summer. You cannot go a summer in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, without getting you at least an Italian ice, if not every day, every other day. Well, how about I give you a $50 gift certificate to Jeremiah's Italian Ice for just $25. That's what we call a sweet deal. And it's on sale this Friday, 8:30 a.m. at WildcatsRadio1290.com. Stop by Jeremiah's Italian Ice, Oracle and Ina. A tasty frozen treat will help you beat this summer heat. See, they even rhyme. They even rhyme that stuff. Try their smooth and creamy Italian ice, rich and delicious soft ice cream, or a gelati, the perfect layering of Italian ice and ice cream. Gelati, not gelato, but gelati. 400 flavors of Italian ice made fresh daily. The choices are endless, and so are the samples. Come try them all. Find your favorite combination. Check out their website or their loyalty app, the J-List, to see all of their flavors and most popular combinations. You want to try their newest craze, gelatis with nerds. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds really good. Any flavor of Italian ice layered with vanilla soft serve and rainbow nerds. Cool and colorful, sweet and sour, creamy and crunchy, nerd gelatis. Have it all. Again, this is a sweet deal for Jeremiah's Italian Ice. Goes on sale Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. WildcatsRadio1290.com. A $50 gift certificate for just $25. Christy, get us home every 20 minutes on the fives. Traffic and weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. We still have that collision on 12th Avenue and Irvington Road. That's Irvington Road and 12th Avenue. An earlier collision in the clearing stages on East River Road at Stone Avenue. Also seeing some slowing on 1st Avenue and Fort Lowell Road. And we have a speed enforcement zone in the area of Cushing and Granada. We are in excessive heat watch through Friday. Tonight's overnight low of 74, tomorrow's high 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Women's basketball legend, Sue Bird. Caitlin Clark, obviously, front and center for the WNBA season. What have you seen over the first couple of games for her?
Part of professional sports is you're going to have some stretches. You're going to shoot bad, your team's going to lose, and how do you respond to that? Everybody's clearly got their defensive game plan built around her, which is a compliment, but you got to figure it out from there.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Does Umar Ballo's decision to play for the Indiana Hoosiers change your feeling about his legacy as an Arizona Wildcats player?
Umar Ballo was about as Wildcat as it gets. Look at the smile on his face when he talks about what the McHale crowd means to him. That's real. How do you be a fan, David? That's the conversation we're having. You want to open that Pandora's box. Like, what does it mean to be a fan, and how do you fan? Well, that's really up to you.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Tucson has a new chill spot to beat the summer heat. Stop by Jeremiah's Italian Ice on Oracle and Ina for a tasty frozen treat. Try their smooth and creamy Italian ice, rich and delicious, soft ice cream, or a gelati, the perfect layering of Italian ice and ice cream. With over 40 flavors of Italian ice made fresh daily, the choices are endless, and so are the samples. Come try them all and find your favorite combination. Check out their website or loyalty app, The J-List, to see all their flavors and most popular combinations. You'll want to try their newest craze, gelatis with nerds. Any flavor of Italian ice layered with vanilla soft serve and rainbow nerds. Cool and colorful, sweet and sour, creamy and crunchy. Nerd gelatis have it all. Try Jeremiah's Italian ice today and live life to the coolest.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from Jeremiah's Italian Ice. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
Time for the hot weather polar bear promise. Alaskan AC arrives in 1 day or your repair is free.
Wait, say that again?
We arrive in 1 day or your repair is free?
Again, but longer on the A.
We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. Hear it? No.
Alaskan AC, service guarantee. We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. By George, he's got it. With the Alaskan AC service guarantee, we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
Are we really doing this?
That's awesome, Gary. With Alaskan AC service guarantee,
we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
We should probably
sing with us, William.
I would really rather.
Come on.
I don't want to.
Chicken bok bok.
Guys, no.
It's catchy.
Do it.
Sing out, Louise.
Fine.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free. Whoa.
Whoa is right.
Can we get back to work now?
Schedule anytime at AlaskanAC.com.
Incredible.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
This headed down for the Falcons on the toss. It's Robinson. Couple of nice moves. Out across the 45 and still going.
Second and goal. Ritter flips it. Robinson has it. And he has a touchdown. And Atlanta is back in front.
Bijan Robinson last year on the all-rookie team in the National Football League, 976 yards rushing, 487 yards receiving. He was 10th in the NFL in yards from scrimmage. That's obviously rushing yards and receiving yards combined. He had 8 touchdowns on the season, 4 rushing, 4 receiving. You heard him say in that media session, he believes he's going to be a Christian McCaffrey-like player in terms of the way that his career is going to progress. A guy that obviously can run the football, but can also be a weapon out of the backfield. We kind of knew that just because, Bijan is a good receiving running back that's come out of the draft in recent years,
like
so not surprising.
Falk type player.
Yeah, very much a Marshall Falk like player. And again, he's got a new quarterback this year. That quarterback is one Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins speaking about what he has learned from his young running back who just said that he was old enough to be his dad.
I'm excited to get him on the practice field because handing the ball off to him, you could see the movement skills. I just appreciate his positive approach. He's going to be the same guy every day. He's not going to ride the roller coaster. and who that guy is going to be a positive person who's always looking to the next play, and he's an encouraging teammate. But yeah, I try not only to say, hey, run this route like this. I also try to say, hey, how's your family? How's your how do you spend the off season? What are your training habits? What stresses you off the field? Just try to, because I've lived all that. It's hard, and I don't want guys to carry more of a weight than they need to carry. So try to help them if I can with some of the things I've learned. By making mistakes and learning from it. Try to help other guys who can learn from what I've gathered.
That is Kirk Cousins, the new quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, the Falcons also took Michael Penix Jr. with the number 8 overall pick. Same selection spot they had taken Bijan Robinson with the year prior. Raheem Morris takes over as the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He was asked how he hopes and intends to use Bijan Robinson this season.
In the simplest form as you can possibly make it is get the ball to Bijan as much as you can in as many ideal situations that you possibly can. For him, he's so talented, you don't want to limit the things that he can do, but you also don't want to water it down so much that he's not doing anything that he can do great, right? When you get the ball in his hand, he makes people miss. He gets extra yards. He's able to fight for extra yards. He breaks tackles. He's fast. He's explosive. He's strong. He can do so many things. You can get overwhelmed sometime, maybe as a play caller or even as a designer. But for him, I really think he enjoys the whole process. I think he compared himself to that Christian McCaffrey role. And if we can get anywhere near the great player that Christian McCaffrey is, I think we'll all be pretty excited.
Did that make you nervous at all to hear him say that?
No, I'm never going to take away a guy's confidence. It's something about that youthful arrogance, man, that just excites me. So, I absolutely love that.
Youthful arrogance, as he categorizes that. Here's again, if you missed it, what Bijan said about what he feels like his role will be.
I'm going to be more of a runner that does everything else. Like, not as much, I don't know what the plan is, but like it's like run first, like I did in college, and then, still having that access to go to receivers, still having access to do creative things out the backfield. More so like how they use Christian down there in San Francisco, like something like that. So that's kind of what the plan is here.
So there you go, Bijan Robinson. It'll be very fun to watch it kind of develop this year. Year number 2, he's comfortable now. Obviously, it's a lot of changes, though, from year 1. Dominic Ritter was the primary quarterback there last year. You had a different coach, so there's a lot of transitions going in. Welcome to the business of the NFL, Bijan. That's kind of how it works. You might have a different quarterback every year, depending on the franchise you get with. You got to be able to make adjustments and get to know people and personalities, but it sounds like he's going about it the right way, getting to know his veteran QB coming in.
Well, yeah, and the positive attitude. Hearing Cousins talk about that's the first thing he mentioned was you're not going to be different, day in, day out, play in, play out. I mean, that's what you need. As a young, talented, top 10 running back in this era of the NFL, DK. You don't get drafted in the top 10 as a running back anymore unless you're exceptional. So just stay positive, keep doing what you're doing. My question to you is, did Roger Craig run the ball first and catch the ball second? That was the first guy I remember being that dual threat out of the backfield.
Yeah. I don't know that there was a first or second. I think he always I always remember him as a receiver.
Yeah, me too.
In those days.
Yeah.
Maybe more primarily as a receiver than a runner. Now, I think Bijan can be, well, you saw it last year. He can be 1,000-yard a season back. Is he going to be that? Do they want to put that type of pounding on him to where he's that kind of guy? I think he can be that kind of guy, but it'll be interesting to just kind of see how that phases out. But I always remember Roger Craig as more of a receiver than I do as a running back. Yeah. But he ran for 8,000 yards. So, again, he did both very well.
3-0 A&M.
A&M leading Kentucky.
Yeah, they just got another double.
3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
Winner of this game goes to 2-0 in the bracket B of the College World Series as we try to work our way to the finals this weekend. All right, let's give you your Desert Diamond Casino replay.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, we were chatting earlier in the show with Sebastian Pineda. He is the manager of FC Tucson's side in the USL League 2, and this is his first season as a head coach. He once played for FC Tucson back in their former USL League 2 PDL Premier Development League days. Now, in terms of you, obviously, first year as the head coach, how have you kind of grown into this thing? 7 games in. How are you feeling about the way you thought it would line up and the way that things have played out on the pitch so far?
It's been a learning experience every day. I can tell you that. Those first 5 games away were very tough on everybody, especially the last 2 coming back playing at home. But I think that I have a lot of support from the club, from the front office, from my staff, and they keep, we communicate very well. We talk a lot. We try to find the right players to bring in, the right rotations. When you have so many games, you got to rotate legs and make sure the guys are ready to go. And unfortunately, we got that loss at home. That is the one that I think hurts the most. But the guys know that the goal now. The goal now is to be undefeated at home, and that's the challenge that we have in front of us. Having very good teams coming to play us, but from my side, it's a day-by-day type of task, and I'm excited about it. Still excited.
Obviously, you've got one of the smartest guys I've ever known in terms of soccer, hanging above you, and John Perlman. What's the biggest piece of advice that JP's given you?
He's very involved on the technical side this year. Him and I have a good relationship, and we communicate very often. Just talking about the lineups, just everything on the technical side. But the main thing is he knows that I like when he comes to me and tells me very direct stuff, very detailed stuff. So when he comes to the locker room and talks to me about how I'm managing the player, am I caring about the people, do I still find joy in what I'm doing? So he just keeps me going mentally more than on the soccer side, more on the personal side, and that's the part I appreciate the most from him. He knows me very well, so to get the best out of me.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, Sebastian Pineda and the boys back home on the pitch this Friday night against the Southern California Eagles. That'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff out at Keno North Stadium. WNBA last night. We didn't get into what happened in Indiana. We'll maybe touch on that tomorrow. But the Mercury won last night at 87, actually yesterday afternoon, 87-78 over the Seattle Storm.
Copper, one side of the court against Jewel Lloyd. Tarasi, long three, hits the front rim and then goes in. Good ball movement, Cloud. Shot clock is dying. Copper needs to shoot. Does over. Izzy and hits it. And it starts with Ka and BG. 3 minutes to go. Get it to Griner. Yes. And the foul.
Big games for Kalia Copper. She had 30, another 30-point game for Kalia Copper. Brittany Griner had 28 in the game as the Mercury beat the Seattle Storm 87-78. So after the game, Brittany Griner shows up at the post-game press conference with a beer.
I just like Bud Light, so
let's hear her response to why she showed up at the post-game press conference with a beer.
I just like Bud Light, so just have a beer after the game. It's Father's Day. I'm trying to celebrate. It's my day, so celebrating a little bit.
Now, do you remember when the Mavericks won the Western Conference Finals Luca was in the hallway and he was being interviewed, and one of the PR people came up and took the beer away from him that he was drinking in view of all the cameras.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. BG. Now, look, unless we're winning a title and there's champagne and that kind of thing, but like a regular season game, Sunday afternoon game, I would leave the beer in the locker room and not bring it to the post-game press conference. Can we hear that one more time? Real quick.
I just like Bud Light, so just, have a beer after the game. It's Father's Day. I'm trying to celebrate, It's my day,
Right.
So I'm celebrating a little bit.
It's her day, Father's Day, her day. All right. Brittany Griner. Phoenix Mercury beat the Storm 87-78. That's going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to Sebastian Pineda. His name is J-Dub. Her name is Christy. I am David Kelly. That is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you on Tuesday. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. We have a new collision on 12th Avenue and 44th Street. That's 44th Street and 12th Avenue. Couple collisions in the clearing stages. 12th Avenue and Irvington Road, also in the clearing. East River Road and Stone Avenue. We're also still seeing some slowing on 1st Avenue and Fort Lowell Road, and we still have that speed enforcement zone in the area of Cushing and Granada. We are in an excessive heat watch through Friday. Tonight's overnight low is 74 degrees, and tomorrow's high is 103. And I'm Christy with Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Because it probably can be.
Introducing Rumble Cloud, a platform